Welcome and good evening, everyone. Let's go ahead and call our meeting to order for Wednesday, April 8th, opening at 6:03. Let's go ahead and have our Vice Mayor do our flag salute with us.
Please stand and salute the flag.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Karpinski Costa.
Present.
Councilmember Nelson.
Present.
Councilmember Schaefer.
Here.
Vice Mayor Middleton.
Here.
And Mayor Lopez Taff.
Here. Next item, please.
This meeting of the Citrus Heights City Council is live and recorded with closed captioning. It is cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast and DirecTV UVerse cable systems. It is also live streamed at citrusheights.net. Tonight's meeting replays on Monday, April 13th at 9 a.m. on Metro Cable Channel 14. And this meeting can also be viewed on the city's YouTube channel.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Next item is approval of agenda.
All right, just a reminder that when we approve items this evening, we will be doing a roll call vote because we have one council member online.
With that, move approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Those in favor?
And Mayor, I'll call it.
Oh,
roll
that's-
call vote.
I violated my own rule. Thank you, Amy.
Councilmember Karpinski Costa.
Yes.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Councilmember Schaefer.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Middleton.
Aye.
And Mayor Lopez Taff.
Aye. Next item, please.
Next item is presentation number 4, proclamation of the City of Citrus Heights proclaiming April 19th through 25th, 2026 as National Volunteer Week.
Wonderful. This is one that is very close to my heart, so I will be reading the proclamation. And if I can have, we have several groups represented here to accept this proclamation. I have someone from the City Hall volunteer organizers, Event Center, and Police Department volunteers. We have neighborhood area board members and other local community organizations. If you would like to send a representative, and then we'll take a picture, all of us, when the proclamation is read. So if you would like to start to assemble just your leaders, that would be awesome, as I read the proclamation.
Sorry, Mayor,
Yes.
if you were just a part of our volunteer reception, we'd love to have you join us up here. Please, don't be shy.
Yes, please.
We'll also get a photo as well. Kathy. No photos. Helserman. There we go.
Thank you,
Alfred's on his
Marissa, for
way up.
getting us organized.
Of course, you're welcome. And our council, our mayor will read the proclamation to y'all.
Thank you very much. All right, proclamation of the City of Citrus Heights proclaiming April 19th through 25th as National Volunteer Week. Whereas the City of Citrus Heights recognizes the invaluable contributions of volunteers who enhance the vibrancy and vitality of our community, and whereas communities across the nation celebrate National Volunteer Week to honor individuals who strengthen and enrich their neighborhoods through dedicated service, and whereas the city's volunteer hub serves as a vital tool connecting residents with community groups and nonprofits to facilitate meaningful service opportunities and engagement. And whereas a highlight of this year's celebration includes the Chip In Hall of Fame Award, a volunteer recognition program aimed to highlight the volunteers in our community who are giving back to the betterment of our city, in which I believe the number was 17 nominations were received from our community members acknowledging the efforts of their neighbors. And whereas throughout the week, volunteers will engage in service projects across the city, which will be publicly recognized for their dedication and impact on the community. And whereas the city commends the outstanding efforts of its volunteers, community organizations, and neighborhood areas who have contributed countless hours of service to City Hall, the Citrus Heights Event Center, Police Department, and numerous community events. And whereas the spirit of volunteerism is a cornerstone of our city's resilience, prosperity, and sense of unity, now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Citrus Heights does hereby proclaim April 19th through 25th, 2026 as National Volunteer Week in the City of Citrus Heights, and encourages all residents to celebrate and thank the volunteers who make our community stronger. So I just want to give a round of applause to our representatives here first. And I think it would be great if you can introduce yourself and the group you are volunteering with, and allow your neighbor to do the same. If we can start with you, sir. Yes?
Mike Rutledge with the police.
Feel free to speak into the mic, that would be great. Thank you.
I'm Mike Rutledge, a part of the volunteer traffic team at Citrus Heights Police Department.
Thank you.
Michael Lagomasino, Citrus Heights Police Department. I'd like to take a few minutes, though, a few seconds, if you don't mind, to remind everybody, those of us that are up here do appreciate the proclamation. However, there's a great group of volunteers that are out there that are unrecognized most of the time. Leaders of the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, your coaches for Little League, for the soccer teams, the volunteers for your kids' schools that volunteer their time. And there are many other organizations that normally are not considered. And I wish to take this time, though, to ask you that when you attend a soccer game, go down and thank the coach for taking his time, or Little League, or I don't know if we have Pee Wee football or not, but take the time to let them know you appreciate the time they're given. Thank you.
Thank you for that reminder, absolutely.
So my husband and I, we volunteer for General Services Department, and we use a city vehicle to drive all around the city. It takes us about, a few, maybe about 20 miles each week or a little less. And there's a lot of streets in Citrus Heights, and we go up and down all the cul-de-sacs and stuff.
Great.
And it takes us about 15, 16 weeks to get around the whole city. It's a
Wow.
big city.
Thank you so very much for your
We look for all different
service.
kinds of stuff, all the
Thank
things
you.
we find to turn into See, Click, Fix.
Thank you.
Diane Ebbett Reilly, and I am a volunteer for the Citrus Heights Police Department in Animal Services.
Wonderful.
My name's Irene Ronacek, and I'm here on behalf of Citrus Heights Heart, the Homeless Assistance Resource Team.
Thank you, Irene.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jean Marie Wilby. I'm with the Citrus Heights Women's Club. I'm with the City Event Center. I'm over there Monday afternoons, and I'm on my neighborhood Area 11 board.
Thank you so much, Jean Marie.
Hi, I'm April Jasek. I'm the Director of Operations over at Center Edge Christian Food Ministry. I'm here with my awesome volunteers. We have between 100 and 150 volunteers that keep us running every month, and we had a handful of them that were nominated tonight, so thank you.
Thank you, April.
I'm Kathy Morris, very active in the neighborhood groups and very active with city and neighborhood functions wherever they happen.
Thank you, Kathy.
Bill Shirley, I'm president of Chasen, which takes in areas 7, 8, and 9, which encompasses the whole area of District 2.
All right, thank you, Bill.
Hi, my name is Alfred Sanchez, otherwise known as Snack Man. For the last 8 years, I've gone out and visited homeless people, and I want to share this nomination with all the people that support me throughout the years and make it all possible. I work with anybody, I do like triage. I get there, you need to go here, you need to go there. So I work with a lot of different organizations, and I'm very happy with the work I do, and I don't know what to say. Can you imagine that?
All right, well, thank you. Okay, are we ready for our photo? Let's have all of our volunteers join us up front, and we'll go ahead and get this photo taken.
Have you kind of right here, If I could get you on this side, so I don't have to worry about the podium, so kind of on the side right here. And to the right. All right, get right in front. Perfect. That'll work. Have you guys on this side, Kathy, let's have you poke out a little bit there. Hold on, I'm zoomed in. This 5, got a big break here. Smile. Amazing, thank you all.
All right, thank you. Next item, please.
Our next item is presentation number 5, proclamation of the City of Citrus Heights proclaiming April 19th through 25th, 2026 as National Library Week.
All right, and I've given this honor to Councilmember Nelson.
Thank you very much, Mayor. We have representatives of the Sacramento Public Library here to accept this proclamation. I would like to welcome Director and CEO Peter Coyle and Sylvan Oaks Branch Supervisor Suzanne Clerkin to the podium. All right. This is the proclamation of the City of Citrus Heights proclaiming April 19th through 25th as National Library Week. Whereas the theme for National Library Week 2026 is Find Your Joy, this theme is an invitation for people of all backgrounds to explore and discover what sparks joy in them at the library. And whereas libraries provide free and equitable access to information, technology, and educational resources, supporting literacy, lifelong learning, and personal growth for individuals of all ages and experiences. And whereas National Library Week is a celebration of the vital role libraries, librarians, and library workers play in transforming lives and has been observed annually in the United States since 1958. And whereas libraries serve as inclusive community spaces that promote innovation, creativity, and civic engagement while helping to bridge the digital divide. And whereas in the City of Citrus Heights, libraries and library staff contribute daily to the strength and vitality of the community by offering programs, services, and resources that educate, inspire, and connect residents, helping to build a stronger and more informed community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of Citrus Heights does hereby proclaim April 19th through 25th, 2026 as National Library Week and encourages its residents to visit their local library, explore its resources, and celebrate all the ways that libraries help our community find joy.
Well, welcome, Peter. Would you like to say a few remarks and introduce the rest of your team?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd be delighted to. Thank you so much. Members of council for inviting us to the, we're not at the library, the City Hall today, Library Day here, and we're grateful to be here. Suzanne Clerkin, our branch supervisor, was introduced, and I'm happy to also introduce our Deputy Director and Chief Operations Officer, Jared Keller, and our Deputy Director and Chief Public Service Officer, Selwa Shami. We are delighted to be here, and thank you for the expression of appreciation through this proclamation, recognizing and supporting the library in honor of National Library Week. We appreciate the partnership with the City of Citrus Heights as we provide library services to the users here and in the greater community. And I appreciate the comments in the proclamation of all the things the library does. We want to be welcoming and invite everyone to come to the library. So thank you for that call to action, and we appreciate everything you guys do for us and look forward to continue serving the residents and the library users for many years to come. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Peter and team. And let's go ahead and take that picture.
Great. I think we'll be able to make that.
Next item, please.
The next item is presentation number 6, proclamation of the City of Citrus Heights proclaiming April 12th through 18th, 2026 as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week.
Wonderful, thank you. I've given this honor to Vice Mayor Middleton.
Thank you, Mayor. And I see all of our folks are coming right up because you guys know the drill. We have members from the Citrus Heights Police Department here to accept this proclamation. And at the podium, we have Police Services Manager Shella Cottrell at the podium and her team. Let's see here. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services in the city of Citrus Heights. And when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of our law enforcement, fire, and emergency medical personnel is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And the safety of our first responders is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who contact the Citrus Heights Police Department Communications Center. And our communications professionals are the single vital link for first responders by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them with information, and ensuring their safety. And our public safety telecommunicators of the Citrus Heights Police Department contribute substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and public education, while working behind the scenes under pressure to provide calm, effective support and ensure community safety. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the City Council of the City of Citrus Heights does hereby proclaim April 12th through the 18th as 2026 as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in Citrus Heights, in honor of the women and men whose diligence and professionalism keep our city and citizens safe.
Wonderful, thank you. Go ahead and introduce your team.
Thank you so much. This is Kayla Saunders and Isabella Paul. Good evening, Mayor Lopez Taft, Vice Mayor Middleton, members of City Council, City Manager Feeney, and Chief Turcott. Thank you for the opportunity to accept this proclamation tonight. My name is Chella Cottrell, and I am your Police Services Manager who has the pleasure of serving our Communications Center. National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week falls on April 12th through 18th this year and is intended to recognize the courageous work of those who chose a profession of great valor and tenacity. During 2025, the Communications Center handled over 30,000 911 calls, surpassing industry standards. They also fielded almost 400,000 radio transmission and 800,000 transactions into law enforcement databases. What we must understand about these numbers is that behind them was a person in need of help, an officer depending on the dispatcher to hear their voice, and information that needed to be processed by those equipped to interpret and apply the data received. We are deeply proud of this team. They show up each shift prepared to hear and experience scenarios that they hadn't previously imagined and ready to meet the challenge of the day. Each one of our dispatchers deserves the recognition that this week stands for. We'd also like to share that we will be presenting dispatcher Stephanie A. with our 2026 Dispatcher of the Year Award at a later date. We are proud of her hard work, her role with the tactical dispatch team, and her exemplary ability to talk to people who need a steady voice. Thank you again, and we're honored to stand before you for another year of service.
Thank you so much for your service. All right, let's go ahead and gather, and if the rest of the police department wants to join, that would be great. We are getting our steps in tonight. Next item, please.
The next item is presentation number 7, which is a proclamation of the City of Citrus Heights proclaiming April 12th through 18th, 2026 as National Animal Care and Control Appreciation Week.
Wonderful. I've given this honor to Councilmember Karpinski Costa.
Well, since we're all doing near and dear to our heart proclamations, you know this one is near and dear to my heart. And it's good to see Tiffany Campbell, our Police Services Manager, and Tony Fleener, our Acting Senior Animal Service Officer. Good evening, ladies. Okay, I have a presentation. Proclamation of the City of Citrus Heights proclaiming April 12th through 18 as National Animal Care and Control Appreciation Week. Whereas the National Animal Care and Control Association has designated the second full week of April each year as Animal Care and Control Appreciation Week, and whereas animal services officers play a vital role in our community, including enforcing animal control laws, protecting public health by preventing the spread of diseases such as rabies, and educating residents on proper pet care, and whereas the Animal Services team is comprised of dedicated, highly qualified administrative, operations, and leadership professionals committed to preventing animal abuse and neglect, ensuring public safety by managing dangerous animals, rescuing injured animals, and reuniting lost animals with their owners. And whereas the Animal Services team is highly responsive to the needs of our community, actively participating in outreach and educational events that promote the importance of pet licensing and spaying and neutering to reduce overpopulation and shelter intake. And whereas the Animal Services team serves a visible and essential role in the community, regularly engaging with residents and the criminal justice system to enforce animal care laws at the local, state, and federal levels. And whereas the City of Citrus Heights honors and recognizes the compassionate service and dedication of our entire Animal Services team for their unwavering commitment to ensuring the welfare of animals and the safety of the public. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Citrus Heights does hereby proclaim April 12 through 18, 2026 as National Animal Care and Control Appreciation Week, and urges all residents of Citrus Heights to recognize and express their appreciation for the dedication and service of the Citrus Heights Animal Services team. So with that, would you like to introduce everybody at the podium for us first?
Yes, thank you. It would be my honor. Thank you for having me tonight. On my right is our Acting Senior Animal Services Officer, Tony Fleener. She's been with the agency and Animal Services for 7.5 years. And joining me to my left is our Program Assistant, Lori Radnauer, who seems as if she's been here 10 years by the work she produces. I'm so proud of them. Lori's been with us just a little over a year, and I am Tiffany Campbell, your Police Services Manager. It's my honor to be up here with this small but mighty team. I couldn't be more proud. So Mayor Lopez Taft, Vice Mayor Middleton, and council members, including Councilmember Schaefer on our screen, our city manager, and of course, our chief of police. This year is especially important to me in that we have been a small, very small, but mighty team. We have accomplished much. And this is not something that I have done on my own. I do this with the support of our entire police department behind us. Aside from Officer Fleener, who has been our solo our Animal Services officer out in the field, our team has handled over 3,000 calls with one Animal Services officer. We've had one that has not been with us due to a personal situation. But what I am most proud about is also our community and how our community comes together to help report Animal Services things that they may need, whether it's a stray animal or an injured animal. Just the community, we feel their support, and it is because of them that we are able to do such a great job. So I would like to personally thank in front of everybody Officer Fleener for her continued dedication and support. She works countless hours, works incredible amounts of shifts, but mostly her compassion and her heart really helps get the job done in the most innovative way. And we are a creative team. And then to my left, of course, PA Ridenauer. you are the glue that helps bring these calls for service together, and it is because of the support, even yourself, ma'am, Karpinski Costa, helping at our chipping events and those kinds of items, that we're just so proud to be before you. And, you know, I've been in animal services now half a decade, and in addition to animal services, I also handle our records department and our data compliance unit. So it is my pleasure to be here before you tonight and accept this honor and celebrate this small but mighty team. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and we'll come down and join you. All right, we have an additional comment.
Just
from-
a statement, and Tiffany wanted me to thank all the volunteers. We forgot to thank the volunteers that help with animal services, all the volunteers without which we could not do all our business. So thank you.
Wonderful, great reminder. We have a ton of volunteers that help with our animal services for sure. Next item, please.
Our next item is presentation number 8, which is the Police Department Annual Report.
One sec. Well, good evening, Mayor, members of council. Alex Turcott, your Chief of Police. Distinctly honored to be here tonight, not only to celebrate our volunteers and our telecommunicators and our animal services unit, but I have the pleasure of providing our annual report for 2025 and highlighting just a high-level view of some of the great work that the men and women of the police department do every single day to keep our community safe, increase vibrancy and quality of life. I have a lovely team and couldn't be more proud of them. I will say special recognition on this report, as always, goes to my management analyst, senior management analyst, Cassandra Kanian, for helping put all the numbers into a mathematical way I can understand them. So I appreciate that. Also like to just take a moment to call out our executive team with the police department. Commander Chris Fry, who runs our special services division. That's our investigations, POP, traffic, records, code enforcement, all the things that aren't patrol and dispatch for the most part. And then he can't join us today, he's off with family, but Commander Mike Wells, who runs our operations division. We've got great staff doing great things every day. Those two leaders really help set the tone in each division and make sure that the council's wishes and desires and the community is safe. So appreciate you folks as well. Also present here, as you see by the sea of blue, many of our officers joined us today, not only to celebrate their volunteers and their peers in animal control and code, but to be here and just kind of put a face to the names of some of the great things that we'll be doing here, not only this year, but in last year as well. So let's get started. Let's see. All right. First, just a high level of personnel achievements. Over the last year, I had the opportunity to promote 2 new sergeants. This is during 2025. We have another sergeant that we will announce next year, but you guys have all got that from us as well. Over the last year, Carrie Foote and Ryan Smith were both promoted to police sergeant. As your chief of police, some of the most important decisions I can make are who we hire and then who we promote. And when I look to do that, I look to those individuals who really embody the core values of the police department, who have worked hard and diligently to not only lift up their peers, but do great work in the community. These two are ones from last year, and then I'll just break the news here. Felicia Taylor is going to be a sergeant here in a week and a half, and she'll be doing that as well. So congratulations to Felicia. And sadly, all good things come to a close, not in a very bad way, but these folks all achieved a status of retired, which is a beautiful and wonderful thing in our industry. And they all served valiantly and efficiently with our police department for a number of years. First, Brenda Anderson, who was with the city for over 6 years, the PD for the last few of those. Brian Barron is one of the original founding members of the police department. 19 years of service here, and in retirement has decided to work for the sheriff's department as a deputy. So he has not got all the policing out of his blood yet, but PERS won't let him come back here for the duration. Scott Kermgard was also a founding member of our police department with 19 years of service, retired as a dispatcher 2. And Brittany Sariano was a police officer with 10 years of service, and they're all off on their next chapter. This year, we were able to bring back an in-person honors and awards ceremony. Many of you attended that. Had the opportunity to give numerous awards to our staff for a lot of the good work that they've been doing through the year. If you had a chance to attend, you saw it in person, but there's so many awards and so much good work that we actually fill the entire event center with a hall of heroes with the awards and everything that people can look at. Over 46 employees received recognition such as the Chiefs Award, Life-Saving Ribbons, Exceptional Service Ribbons, Community Policing Ribbons, Team Achievement Ribbons, and Proactive Policing Ribbons. On to the news. We have good news, so everybody hold on. All right. Department statistics. We are down in every major category of crime in 2025. Crimes against persons was down 7%. Crimes against property was down 8%. Crimes against society was only down 1%, but as you remember, our proactive efforts are also in that crimes against society measure. So like last year, we had an uptick in that, but that really showed the proactive work our officers had done in getting status offenses like weapons, drugs, and those kind of paraphernalia off the street. I'm happy to report those proactivity measures have stayed high. This decrease actually has to do with some other minor status crimes that are in there, like animal cruelty and the like. So hopefully that means more animals are being treated well, but we're just going to still keep on the lookout to make sure that we are detecting those as much as possible. Overall, that brings us to 6% total crime down, which is a great report to give for a year, but I have even better news. Since it's our 20th anniversary coming up here in June 26th, which you're all invited to, we'll be at the event center starting, opens doors at 11, program starts at 12, and we'll have some like snacks and such. We wanted to take a look back. The department's turning 20, we wanted to see what we've done in those 20 years. So not only, I'm happy to report, not only was 2025 down between 2025 and 2024 in crime, but it represents the lowest year for crime in our entire police history, which is awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause on that one. From the first year that we have data, which was 2007, till now, your police department has dropped crime 54.5% since 2007. That is an unheard of drop in crime, and I'm just so proud of the efforts each man and woman in the police department does every day, both sworn and professional staff, to go out with a mission, accomplish that mission, and bring in those numbers like that. Couldn't be more proud of the team. Some additional statistics are traffic fatalities. One is always too many. We stayed flat for the year. We're still working on trying to get that to 0 wherever possible. Our injury collisions came up slightly by a number of 4 for 1%. Property damage collisions were down 13%, and DUI collisions were down 22%. If you remember, we recently started assigning our motors out to the high schools to kind of help bolster safety around those schools. They've maintained high levels of proactivity there and built some great relationship with the campuses, and that's the numbers reflected here on the bottom. You'll see over here traffic citations decreased a little bit. We'll be looking to bring more traffic enforcement to the forefront this year as we balance our current maintenance mode with blight and quality of life issues and bring more traffic enforcement back as well. Our patrol teams have already been doing a great job doing that in support with our motor officers as well. Calls for service, we had about 84,000 total calls for service. You can see the breakdown here. High level of officer initiated, almost, more than a third are self-initiated proactive calls for service. That small and mighty team that you saw and gave a resolution to for animal services handled 3,000 calls on their own last year. Code enforcement as well, super proactive with over 3,000 calls for service. And on top of that, another 2,300 of proactive directed enforcement out in our communities, majorly, mostly along our retail and commercial corridors there. And we had 32,000 911 calls. And 118 text to 911, and folks don't know, if you ever have a problem and you can't be overheard on the phone or whatever, Citrus Heights has text to 911. Simply dial 911, send a message, a dispatcher's there live to help you with that problem as well. Some unit accomplishments, again, high level, a lot more happened this year, but we just want to give you kind of a high level look at what your units have been able to do. Animal Services, we talked about that earlier, received a very generous donation for microchips, and they've been looking to get as many folks, not folks, can't microchip folks, as many of people's animals microchipped and licensed to increase the ability to get them back to their owners. We enhanced our after-hours model in support of our lean and mighty animal control staff. Our CSOs and other patrol assets have had additional training in Animal Services to be able to handle calls that are exigent when Animal Services are not on hours. From code enforcement, successfully abated 3 long-standing problem properties. 4th of July, they issued over 46 citations for illegal fireworks, which was a major operation there in conjunction with the many units in our department. Implemented the direct enforcement program that we just talked about, and conducted food truck operations as well. Our communications center remodel was finally complete. I know council had the opportunity to tour that. That is now the model in the region for folks to come see how to best put a communications center together. You met, or you saw Police Services Manager Cottrell earlier with her team. She was one of the project managers along with Regina Cave in General Services that really brought that home and have an excellent center that our staff are very happy with. Also, we implemented our senior dispatch program, or returned it back, which is a succession planning and leadership development program with our dispatch staff, not only helping to lead on the floor, but prepare them for future opportunities as well in supervision. And also, for 11 of the 12 months of 2025, they were fully staffed in dispatch, which doesn't sound like that big a deal unless you've ever tried to staff a dispatch center before. And I know my colleagues in other jurisdictions wonder how we do that, and I send them to Cella. But it's been awesome to have a full staff out there too. Also at Citrus Heights, we never settle. We answered 97% of all 911 calls within 15 seconds. The industry standard is to get those 90% at least within those times, and we've always been able to beat that as well. Very motivated staff, and if you need them in an emergency, any second that they delay can be a lot. So very good with that. Also, with our real-time information center, we have a regional model with Elk Grove where we're sharing assets back and forth and being able to look and do good in both jurisdictions. Specifically to Citrus Heights, the real-time information center supported over 170 cases, 725 calls for service. They identified over 100 suspects and assisted with the suspect identification or vehicle identification. Well, this is a notable case, I'm sorry, and assisted with the suspect and vehicle identification in the homicide that occurred recently at Fire Station 21 and the stabbing at Fireside Lanes. This has been a great asset, and we'll obviously come more to council on reports with that later in this year, but it's been a very good use of technology and a time saver for our detectives. Our records and data compliance unit, run by our manager, Tiffany Campbell, handled over 12,000 citizen assists, which has been up 4%. Fulfilled 4,500 PRAs, these are public records requests where folks are looking for information. Processed 9,800 cases. Dealt with 212 290 registrants, these are the registrants who they must register because they have had a sex crime issue. So we have a CSO assigned to the data and compliance unit that ensures that they meet all the requirements they're supposed to, and when they don't, she sends those guys in the back after them and makes sure that they come into compliance, and they're doing a really good job with that. 24 arson registrants and released 329 vehicles. Our problem-oriented policing unit hit the ground running. They've been doing an excellent job. Blight and nuisance abatement throughout the city. They continue to partner with the beautification crew and code enforcement to knock down problem areas. Every morning, they still go out with the beautification crew to hit our hot spots and maintain that high level of success we've had in beautifying our open areas. They have had directed patrols at our local parks, and in just the general public space, they've decreased illegal camp calls by over 50%, which is a very good metric for them. And they're just really nice people if you've ever met them, so good job. I also coordinated our National Night event. They'll continue to do that again this year. Conducted run, hide, fight presentations for the community, and participated in over 10 community and city events in their spare time when they're not putting bad guys in jail. Our property and evidence unit was able to purge and destroy over 200 illegal firearms. 90% of the warehouse went through a complete and full audit. And another piece of technology has really helped our efficiency and save staff time. We have what amounts to very similar to Amazon lockers now outside of the PD, where folks don't need to have a reservation or wait for staff to be able to come. We can put those items in the locker, give them a code, they can show up, retrieve their belongings when it's good for them to do so, and makes it much more efficient, 24/7 access and things like that. And it's been a huge time saver for both our staff and the community. Our drone team, our small unmanned aerial systems team, provided overwatch for over 7 SWAT missions. The drones were used highly successfully in our 4th of July operations, assisted with the identification of illegal fireworks. They are a very popular team. They go all over the place to assist allied agencies as well with call-outs. They're continually deployed in our own town to locate suspects. It really gives us like our own helicopter, but for way less of the cost and hyper-efficient there, which has been really good. And they've completed over 633 flights last year, which is a uptick of 86%, and logged over 91 flight hours, which is an increase of 160%. So really robust team doing a great job out there. On the youth engagement front, our PAL program continues to excel. You guys have seen the new truck and trailer combo that's out there, or any of the new swag that's been going on. They've been out in the community a lot this last year. We added 31 new children to the program, which is awesome. They had record-breaking attendance at their trunk or treat event. Data looks to say over 5,000 people went in through that event. The candy suggests 15,000 people went through that event, but I think some people went back for seconds and thirds. So they hosted their 2nd annual golf tournament, which was very well attended and highly touted as a great event, fundraiser. Attended 15 community city events and assisted more than 25 children during our annual Shop with the Cop community event. Our Explorer program has also increased their membership. They've also increased hands-on training with scenario-based exercises. This is our gateway to law enforcement, or some go into the military, or just some become incredible adults, and that's what we're looking for one way or the other. They completed specialized training in the drones and in DUI. Not doing DUI, but detecting DUI. I should be clear about that. Okay, very good. They elevated the physical fitness expectations and professionalism standards, and they participated in the multi-agency DUI checkpoints, assisting officers and our CSOs with processing folks at those checkpoints. Our General Investigation Unit reviewed over 1,300 cases. They had over 560 active investigations that were assigned out. Investigated 21 cyber tips. This is like internet crimes against children and things like of that nature. They also used our FLOC technology to close a great number of cases. Our clearance rate for cases went up, was 6% from 2024 and 19% from 2023. So increasing clearance rates and solving cases in more efficiently and quicker manner, which is awesome using that technology. Over 75 suspects identified, 56 suspects arrested based on the technology there. Over 32,000 stolen plates were captured and 663 stolen vehicles were recovered. And you can see in the stats, our stolen vehicle instance has dropped way down. And for those of you that pay your auto insurance, that's a good thing, because although the rates don't roll back as fast as you like, they don't increase when you're not having an increase in stolen vehicles. So we're hoping that that helps some folks in the pocketbook here sometime this year. Our impact unit participated in over 1,500 incidents, had over 1,000 proactive calls, 89 search warrants, 97 arrests, and 4 targeted retail theft, or what we call blitz operations, where they're working with our retailers and big box stores to curb theft throughout the region. Seized 23 illegal firearms and estimated $800,000 worth of narcotics that they've taken custody of and arrested the malcontents. All right, that was high level and fast, but that is a high level look at the great work that the men and women of the police department have been doing, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
All right, I just want to say, looking at a presentation like this doesn't begin to tell the story of how effective our police department is. I just want to pause here and just thank you, men and women of our PD, for what you do for our city every day. Can we get a round of applause for our team?
Mayor, if I could take a minute to echo those comments, the really dramatic improvement and focus on quality of life crimes for this, for the Citrus Heights Police Department has been absolutely remarkable, and I just can't express enough to the chief and his team how much I really appreciate that.
Thank you, sir, appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilmember Schaefer. And comments from our other council members?
Thank you for a great presentation, and I'm sure the community enjoys the presentation as much as we do. I have a question.
Yes.
How many drone operators do we have?
That is a good question. We're trying to grow that more and more. I'd say we have about 6 operational right now, looking to grow that to everybody if we can, because that's a really useful.
Are they police or are they public, just members of the public?
So we have both. We have sworn officers that do that. We have some volunteers that do that. We're actually dabbling and even looking into the city talent pool here to have that happen as well. So you don't have to be a sworn officer to operate a drone. The drone operators are kept out of the fray, if you will, so.
You have to be a sworn officer to issue a citation of something the drone does?
Yes, and every drone pilot comes with a observer. So like if the officer is piloting, anybody can be the observer, but if anybody could pilot, then the officer can be an observer as well, and they can figure those things.
I want to say that I'm very proud to have been on the city council that got our first police department. And so when I see someone retired who was part of the original team, I feel close.
Oh, yeah.
And I just think the next 20 is going to be as good as the first 20. And the community loves, safety is the number one concern of the average resident here. So it's really good to see our money put to good use. You guys are doing a tremendous job. We love our police department. This is one
Well, and
city
this is
that
a-
loves
this is a
our
great-
police
This
department.
is a great town for support for the police department as well.
Okay, and we want to thank you for your participation in the neighborhood associations, and we're happy to have that participation throughout our cities. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other comments? Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chief, for this great report and for everything that you do, and thank you to your team. I am astounded each time I hear all these numbers because it feels so safe to me in the city, and to know just a little tidbit of what's actually going on behind the scenes and everything that your team is dealing with just makes me so incredibly proud of you all. And I'm very grateful for everything you do.
I appreciate that, and you're right, there is plenty of work out here to do, but these folks come out every day with a mission, focused on trying to make every encounter better than they can, leave the city better than they found it, and I am always at awe and super proud to just see how much effort they put into that. And, as many calls for service as they might handle, they add value to each one, and they do a great job. So thank you for that, ma'am, appreciate that.
Vice
Chief,
Mayor.
You made the comment that, this is just kind of like a highlight. But the fact that when you look at this highlight and you see a total of, a 6% decrease overall, over 84,000 calls for services, and, $800,000 worth of narcotics seized, it tells me that your team is doing an exceptional job, and that if this is just the top line of the data, I can only imagine how great and how much work you guys are doing. And we as a council, as we've said, all of us have said, we tremendously appreciate those efforts. And the fact that it most likely goes unnoticed, all the tiny little details. But I really hope that our residents understand how much focus and impact we put on public safety. Thank you guys for what you do.
Thank you, ma'am, appreciate it.
Absolutely. We love our police department here, so thank you, Chief, for this exceptional report. My mind can barely wrap around, this is city stats or a region stats, but you just represent who we are as a city just exceptionally, so thank you, Chief.
Thank you, ma'am.
Madam Mayor, if I could just say a couple comments too.
Please.
Chief knows this, but certainly we have many members of the police department here tonight turn out for the annual report. But as city manager, I have so much gratitude for the work that's happening. And, there's a lot of seeds that were planted over the course of the last several years around policies and programs. And, the chief has done a fantastic job of carrying out those policies and programs with his leadership team. I mean, if those seeds weren't watered or tended to, you lose your crop. And instead, we're seeing, a bumper crop, 6% down. And then if you look at that stat, lowest in the history of the police department, 54% over 20 years. Very impressive. I love statistics. I love numbers. And that's how you measure your success in your scorecard. And so, Chief Turcotte, under your leadership, we're seeing real results. And I know you're the first one to say it's the people that support you as chief, and many of them are here in the room tonight, and they're out there on the street keeping us safe. So lots of gratitude, and just what a great report. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Next item, please.
Our next item is presentation number 9, a presentation by the General Services Department Capital Improvement Projects Update.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Leslie Bloomquist, your city engineer in the General Services Department, here tonight to give a brief update on our capital improvement projects as we're kicking off the construction season, as we are seeing this good weather. Hopefully it sticks and we can continue moving forward on these. So starting off with our updates is our big project on Auburn Boulevard, the Auburn Boulevard Complete Streets Phase 2 project. This project is between Rush Park and Orlando Drive in the city of Roseville, and it includes the utility undergrounding, new sidewalk, curb, gutter, decorative streetlights, landscaping, upgraded traffic signals, and a new gateway arch over the roadway that will also have an integrated traffic signal near the northern end of the corridor. We started this project back in July of 2024, and I'm really happy to report that we are nearing completion of this project. We are on track to finish work in August of 2026, so just a few months from now. The final remaining major items of work include the construction of the medians, roadway resurfacing, and the installation of the Welcome to Citrus Heights Gateway Arch with that integrated traffic signal. The project includes 8 different grants and various other local funds that comprise the $31.5 million construction funding. The project has required extensive coordination with the City of Roseville, SMUD, other utilities such as Citrus Heights Water District and several communications companies, as well as the large number of both private property and business owners along the corridor. And if you've driven down the corridor recently, you may have seen some of the new shrubs and trees are starting to go in. The corridor is really taking shape, and so we're very excited to be crossing the finish line here very soon on that one. So next up is a couple of our pavement preservation program projects, but I want to just give a quick background and a refresher. Back in December of '23, the council adopted the first 3-year pavement preservation plan, which identified 330 streets for resurfacing during that 3-year period. However, since adoption of that plan, staff has continued to monitor pavement conditions. We've also coordinated with utilities on combined restoration efforts. And as a result of that coordination, an additional 61 streets have been added to the 3-year plan since its adoption. So altogether, there's currently 391 streets identified for resurfacing over this 3-year period. Resurfacing is not just a simple resurfacing project, it's actually a multi-step process. Many resurfacing treatments, based on the recommendations for the roadway itself, also triggers accessibility upgrades for pedestrian safety and accessibility. And in addition to investing the significant amount of money in the pavement preservation, we also look at the condition of the underground facilities in the road, such as the storm drain systems. And we TV all of those and determine if any repairs are needed prior to resurfacing so that we minimize the chance of roadway excavation once the resurfacing treatment goes down, and we can prolong the life of the pavement once we move forward with the restoration. So the 4-step process that we take to a resurfacing project is first those accessibility and drainage upgrades. We also look at crack sealing the road and doing localized asphalt pavement repairs. And the final step is the resurfacing, which ends with the striping and signing upgrades. So the first project in the 3-year plan was the 2025 Accessibility and Drainage Project. This project was completed just this past month for a total cost of approximately $4.1 million. It was funded with CDBG grant funds as well as local funds, and constructed 128 curb ramps, repaired 17,000 square feet of sidewalk, 3,900 linear feet of curb and gutter, and over 2,200 linear feet of storm drain. So now that that step is complete, the next step of the resurfacing project is underway for the 2025 identified streets. This project began last month and will resurface 137 roadways, including both Antelope Road and Primrose Avenue. This project is anticipated to cost a bit over $9 million and will be funded primarily with local funds, with a small contribution coming from the city of Roseville, as we are resurfacing White, and that is a shared roadway between the two jurisdictions. And while each street will be completed on its own schedule, the overall project is anticipated to be complete this fall of 2026. So next up is the 26 and 27 Accessibility and Drainage Project. In order to more efficiently implement the next 2 years of streets, we did combine the 26 and 27 into one larger project. The first step of this project is to construct the accessibility and drainage components, which includes 246 curb ramps, over 30,000 square feet of sidewalk repair, almost 11,000 linear feet of curb and gutter repair, and an unidentified amount of storm drain repair. We're still working on the analysis of that. This item is currently in the final design, and we anticipate construction to commence later this year. Another item to note is that as we look into the upgrades required for resurfacing, we also look if any previously adopted plans may overlap boundaries. In this case, the intersection of Auburn and Carriage was previously identified for improvements as part of our Carriage-Laupe Safe Schools Corridor Plan, which was adopted previously by City Council. So therefore, as the accessibility upgrades were triggered at this intersection, the recommendations that we are moving forward with are the ones that are in that Auburn Carriage Safe Schools Corridor Plan, which is the concept that's shown here. So specifically at Auburn and Carriage, we'll be installing pedestrian bulb outs on the northwest and northeast corners. We'll be adding in the missing crosswalk on the west leg of the intersection, and we'll also be widening the sidewalk from the school down to the intersection, as we have large numbers and groups of students each day on those portions of the sidewalk. Similarly, a recent study was completed for the intersection of Greenback and Birdcage, and as we'll be resurfacing Greenback as part of the 26 and 27 project, we're also doing improvements to that intersection to add back in the crosswalk on the west leg of that intersection as well. So the last project associated with the currently adopted pavement preservation plan is the resurfacing for the 26 and 27 streets. This project is also in design, and we anticipate construction to commence in spring of 2027, immediately following the accessibility and drainage project. This project includes the resurfacing of over 250 roads and includes Auburn Boulevard from Sylvan Corners to Manzanita, Greenback Lane from Dewey to Birdcage, and Sylvan Road from Sylvan Corners to Greenback Lane. So moving on from pavement preservation, we do have additional projects in design. The Old Auburn Road Complete Streets project has moved into final design. This project is on Old Auburn between Tiara and Gary Oak, and it includes separated sidewalks and bikeways, a road diet, lighting improvements, landscaping and gateway improvements, and an enhanced crossing at Tiara Way. While we did receive a grant of over $2 million to do the design and right-of-way for this project, we have yet to identify construction funds, so we will be seeking additional funds in this upcoming grant round. Next is the Roseville Butternut and Systemic Intersection Improvements Project. This project, construction contract was just recently awarded, and construction is anticipated to begin here in the next few weeks. It includes the installation of 584 retro-reflective backplates. Those are the heads on the traffic signals with the yellow borders around them that you've seen at some intersections around town. We'll be doing that at lots more locations. It also includes improvements to the Roseville Butternut and the Butternut Villa View intersections. Specifically, a southbound left turn pocket on Roseville Road will be added to provide access onto Butternut Road. And we'll also be doing roadway resurfacing and pedestrian and accessibility upgrades at those 2 intersections as well. This project is anticipated to cost just over $1 million, which is primarily funded through a Highway Safety Improvement Program grant. Next are the trail extension projects. Upon completion of the 2.9-mile Arcade Cripple Creek Trail project, we were awarded grant funds for 2 trail extension projects, each a half a mile in length. One will extend from Sayonara Drive to Mariposa Avenue. The other will construct a portion of the trail from Sylvan Road and connect back to the trails in the Stock Ranch Nature Preserve. Both projects are currently in design and environmental documentation phase, and we're actively conducting public engagement for both of these projects right now. While the Sayonara to Mariposa Extension Project is fully funded from an active transportation program grant, the Sylvan to Stock Ranch Extension Project is only funded through the design phase and does not have money identified for construction. So this is another one of the projects that we'll be applying for grant funding in this upcoming round. Up now is the San Juan Complete Streets Project. This project has been broken up into 3 different phases. All 3 phases include sidewalk gap closure, new streetlights and buffered bike lanes, transit stop upgrades, accessibility upgrades, and pavement resurfacing. Phase 1A was recently constructed for a cost just under $3 million, primarily funded through a SACOG regional grant, and that's the portion between Madison and Chestline. Phase 1B is also fully funded and is nearing completion of the design. We anticipate construction to begin next spring in 2027. That's the portion between Chestline and Spicer. And we were recently awarded a $500,000 federal appropriation through Congressman Bera's office for the Phase 2 segment of San Juan Avenue. However, this final phase is anticipated to cost approximately $12 million. So while we will have funds to start the preliminary engineering, this is another project we'll be seeking additional funds to carry this through the final phases. However, that's not all. We also have several projects underway in various stages. The Gateway Activation Project is progressing, and as you may recall, this is the trail gap closure project and traffic operations upgrade in the northeast part of the city on Old Auburn Road and Walktail Way. We plan to come back to council in the next 2 months with more detailed update on that project, as we're currently in the environmental final documentation phase of that project. And I'm sure everyone is familiar with Sunrise Tomorrow project. GSD is working hard towards the start of design for the frontage improvements along the Sunrise Tomorrow frontage on Sunrise and Greenback. An award of this design contract is actually on tonight's agenda later on for consideration. Madison Avenue resurfacing recently began. This is a joint project between the City of Citrus Heights and Sacramento County, with the county taking the lead, and it will resurface Madison Avenue between Fair Oaks Boulevard and San Juan Avenue. We also have several creek repair and drainage projects underway. The Creek Erosion and Bridge Scour Protection Project will upgrade creeks and bridges at 3 different locations, protecting both the built and natural environments at those bridges. And we have the recently completed repairs at Arcade Creek near Mel Court, which is the picture on the screen in front of you, the new gabion baskets that were installed last year. So as you can see, our department, our capital improvement team is very busy. And that's just a brief update. We're actively looking for more engineers to help us out on these projects if you know anybody. And with that, I'm here to answer any questions, should you have any.
Thank you so much, Leslie. I'm just so impressed with the amount of projects that you have, and just so proud of the work that your team has done, especially with figuring out the most efficient way to repair our roads and get that satisfaction to our residents on the roads we all drive on. So I appreciate that. Very proud of the way we manage money, and how we aggressively seek grant funding and apply our own general fund dollars to this effort. So thank you very much for your efforts. Do I have additional comments? Yes, please.
Yes, Mayor.
Oh, yes, Councilmember Schaefer.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted, I recall over the last 5 or 6 years, there were lots of naysayers about how they said we couldn't get this done. And this is a testament to staff's very hard work and really a diligence to dedicating the funds and getting grant money to making this happen. I'm incredibly proud of the General Services Department and the hard work they do. So thank you very much, Leslie. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Leslie, one, incredible work that's happening, in our city and with the construction. And with that, I wanted to point out, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, don't we have an online tool that residents can look at to see where there's like going to be upcoming construction and they can stop complaining about, oh, I cannot get to the old Big Lots I don't know why anybody's going over there yet, but, is there a tool that we can be using to help us navigate that?
We do have construction websites for each of our projects hosted on our cityofcitrusheights.net website, where we do actively upgrade those or update those with the information on construction.
So residents should be going to our website, checking up on these projects to be knowledgeable of when, there's going to be lane closures and all these kind of things, correct?
Yes, right.
All right, you guys, you heard it here first. Read the website.
Thank you for that reminder. Councilmember, yes.
Question, pavement restoration. I just love pavement restoration. PCIs is the pavement condition index. How often do you do the PCIs on a street? How often is that updated?
We have not, we update them, we try to do it every 5 years.
5 years.
So it's been a little bit more than 5 years since we last did it. After this next round, the 2025 projects are implemented and resurfaced. We do plan to start discussing when we're going to recollect that data and update our PCIs.
So this follows so after you do that, is there a plan to have every street in the city with a date of proposed, just, knowing things can happen to screw things up, but just a date where what year, if you're going to look at your street and it's 2031 or 2027, you got to wait 4 years if you're, so you're going to have, so each person could look up their street and find out when they can expect to have their street done?
We currently have a map on our website for the existing 3-year program, so if it is identified on the 25, 26, 27.
What if it's not? So
We are working, and we will be developing the next 3-year plan, and we'll be adding that to the website as soon as it's developed. So beyond that, we don't currently have any plans, but it is definitely something that we can look into and discuss.
it'd be nice if a person could say, well, my street's not in this 3, is it in the next 3, is it in the next 3? And so, we understand you can't be exact, but maybe if they know their street is on the road map somewhere,
Yeah.
that they can find it, especially after you do an update on the PCIs.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you for all the good work this department, you're the lone engineer, right? No, you got one helper, don't you?
We have two other engineers and an engineering technician,
So
besides
we
myself.
could use a few more with all these projects going on, so you do a great job, you guys.
Thank you very much.
Councilmember Nelson.
Thank you, Mayor. Firstly, I am super impressed with your team, and thank you for this report. I feel like roadways are one of those things where people tend to notice when they're bad, but they don't always celebrate when they're good. It just kind of ends up being this subtlety, this subtle part of their lives. But it really does add so much quality of life to each and every one of us, and whether we realize it consciously or not. And I am super grateful for the work that you guys are doing to improve our city in that way. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Leslie.
Madam Mayor, this is another one there's so much excitement. If I may also
Yes,
thank
please.
our city engineer, Leslie Bloomquist. So impressive, the amount of work that's coming out of the General Services Department and your expertise on traffic engineering and execution of the overall pavement preservation plan is really impressive. I know, several years ago, there was a discussion of what are we going to do about roads, and the team was challenged with that and put together a fantastic plan, and we're seeing big numbers on the roads that are being addressed, and major roadways too that people experience, and nobody likes to be rattled. Like you spoke to the quality of life, Councilmember Nelson, when you're hitting potholes and rough roadways, that's tough. So the team is addressing that, very grateful for their innovative efforts on it, and lots of orange cones going up. That's going to be a favorite color around here, and I know that sometimes that creates some challenges for folks, but if you could just remember that means there's help on the way for improving your quality of life and your driving experience or cycling experience, and not to even mention all the trails that have been done. So really appreciate all the hard work that you're executing on behalf of the community, consistent with the council's directives and priorities.
Well said, Ash. All right, thank you. Next item, please.
Next item is public comment, and members of the public may address the city council during the meeting. You are asked to fill out a speaker sheet and give it to the city clerk when you're called upon to speak. Step forward to the podium and state your name for the record. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and the mayor has the discretion to adjust the allotted time. There is a countdown display that will flash red at the end of the allotted time. And it will also beep at the end of the allotted time. Consistent with the Brown Act, the council is prohibited from engaging in a discussion or taking action on any item not appearing on the agenda. And the first public comment speaker I have is Zena Khan.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and council members. This is actually my first council meeting, so very privileged to be here. I want to start by saying I really appreciated hearing tonight's report. The focus on public safety, infrastructure, and community service reflects something important, that the city deeply cares about the well-being of its people. My name is Zena Khan, and I am the Director of Nursing Services for Shadowbrook Post-Acute here in the Citrus Heights, Fair Oaks area. I've been in the healthcare industry for over a decade, and I've come to understand just how meaningful these places can be for patients, for families, and for the community. At my core, I am a nurse, and I want to share something I've seen more times than I can count. A patient is ready to leave the hospital, they've made it through the hardest part, but instead of moving forward, they wait days, sometimes longer. Not because they aren't ready, but because there isn't a place for them to go. I've sat with families, especially those caring for elderly loved ones, asking what happens next. And too often, we don't have a clear answer close to home. That's why Shadowbrook exists. While we may sit just outside the city boundaries, we are part of the same community, serving the same families, the same hospitals, and the same people who call this area home. We created the space to be a place where our community can heal, regain strength, and transition with dignity and support. Right now, our building is ready, our team is ready, but the people who need us, they're still waiting. Shadowbrook would bring over 140 jobs to this community. It would support our local hospitals, and it would become an important healthcare resource for this entire region. This evening, I'm simply asking for your support, a letter from this council to help us open our doors. Because this isn't just about a building, it's about creating a place where people in our community can truly heal. Your support can turn a waiting building into a place where healing begins right here in our community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Elena Thomason, and we can bring the microphone to you.
Okay. Or you can take me to it. Sure. I got you.
Is that fine?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, here we go.
Stay around. Hello, my name is Elena Thomason, and I've been a homeowner in Citrus Heights since 2015. And prior to the pandemic, I was very involved with it wasn't called Citrus Heights at the time, but it was a low vision support group, and we had 50, 75, 100 people at our meetings that, as we all know, we have a pandemic of our own with our seniors and various eye diseases that are impacting them. And during the pandemic, we lost our group, and I have been motivated to get it going again. And I'm very, very, very happy to announce that we will be having our first meeting of the Citrus Heights Low Vision Support Group, and it will be held this coming Tuesday at 2 o'clock at the Sylvan Oaks Library and I want to publicly thank the library for allowing us to meet there. And I want to thank all of you that kept sending me to the library, because they're great people there, and I think we're going to have an ongoing relationship with them. I brought some flyers tonight. I'd like to leave them with you. As many of you that can help us spread the word. Our visually impaired population is hard to reach because you can put up all the flyers in the world and they're not going to see them. And you can put it in the messenger and they're not going to read it. And so we really depend on all of you to help disseminate the information about this group. The other request I have is I'm looking for volunteers that could help me next Tuesday at the library in setting up tables and chairs for our meeting. I do have a lady that can help me break it down at the end of the day, but if there's any of you that could help us set up the room, if you could take a flyer and give me a call or send me an email and let me know. I want to thank the mayor and the council members for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Elena, what's your phone number?
650-307-3547. Who could I leave flyers with that might see that they get out somewhere here, maybe in City Hall? Or
Yeah, we have a member of the city clerk's team that can take those and.
Great, thank you. I am very, very happy about this because I know some people here in this room that have encountered visual problems, and it can be a very lonely path. And sometimes all we need is to know that, you know, misery loves company and you're not in that boat alone kind of thinking. So any help you could give to this group, I hope that you will do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
And that concludes all of the speaker cards from the audience this evening.
All right, I noticed that we have some high schoolers in the room that we want to simply acknowledge. If you wouldn't mind coming, introducing yourselves and by name and school, that would be amazing. First name and your school.
Hello, my name is Eleanor, and I'm here on behalf of the Civitas program at Rio Americano.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ryan Williams. I'm also part of the Rio Americano Civitas program. Thank you for having us.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Ellie, and I'm also here for the Civitas program at Rio Americano.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is, Hi, my name is Olivia Kelleher, and I'm also part of the Civitas program at Rio. Thank you.
Well, welcome. We always like to welcome our young people to this chamber because we think you are the next leaders of our community. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
The last one was like.
All right, next item, please.
Next item is comments by council members and regional board updates.
I'm going to start with Councilmember Schaefer. I know your time with us is brief and hard fought for, so feel free to give us a quick update.
Well, thank you, Mayor. And first, I want to express my gratitude to the city and to my fellow council members for filling in for me as I fight this battle with cancer. It's going okay. It's I have start my last round of chemotherapy on Monday. It'll go for 4 weeks, so my treatment is scheduled to finish at the end of beginning of May 8th. And I look forward to getting back on track to full duty here. But I haven't attended any meetings outside of council meetings. Unfortunately, I am very disappointed to be missing the trip to Washington, D.C. that the rest of the council will be attending. It's really good work that gets done back there. Amazing things happen back there. So again, fight the fight, and hopefully we'll have a blood drive coming up here. So it's a challenge with accepting blood. I'm 65 years old. I'm a fairly rare blood type, and it's really hard for me to accept blood when, if a child, somebody much younger than me, is in need. It's really hard for me to. I've had 5 blood transfusions so far. A negative blood is in short supply, and need more. So, thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Schaefer. We are looking forward to your full recovery and health. And in the meantime, we enjoy that you can join us in this way. Councilmember Nelson, what have you been up to?
Thank you very much, Mayor. On the 13th of March, I attended the Food and Ag Committee meeting. This is the committee that I'm on for our Cap to Cap trip, where we go to Washington, D.C. and lobby our federal legislators for issues in our region. So I'm very excited to serve on this committee for the second year in a row. We have on this committee restaurateurs, vintners, professors, and true professionals in the food and ag space. And so it's really interesting to be able to be among them and to learn from them on what's affecting our farmers, our restaurants, our grocery stores. So I'm really looking forward to spending more time with them on that trip. And then on the 18th, we of course had our strategic planning meeting, our retreat as we call it. And I'm excited about what goals we came up with. It just seems council and staff are so in sync, and we have a really strong vision for what is important in the city. And I'm looking forward to the next year of implementing all those goals. And then lastly, in the spirit of solid roots and new growth, I wanted to take a moment to officially share with everyone that I have been growing a baby. Thank you. Thank you all. So if you notice that I am trying to catch my breath and have labored breathing up here, that would be why.
It will be the first baby born in our city council.
We are very excited about that. Thank you so much, Councilmember Nelson. Councilmember Karpinski-Costa.
Well, it seems, I thought I wasn't busy till I made my list. So went to the Mosquito District meeting on the 17th of March, but, just to let you know, there's not much happening. Next month is when it all picks up. In April, we start opening our dead bird hotline, so if you find a dead bird, you can notify the hotline, they'll come and get it, or you can bring it they'll come and get it, that's easier. And so we'll have more to say next month. I went to the strategic planning retreat, enough said about that for now. On the 19th, I know Assemblyman Hoover was here, but I went to the San Juan Education Foundation celebrating their $1 million they had raised. Interestingly, I met a teacher who had been a recipient of one of the grants given by the foundation. And I said, what was your project? What was your project? And this project was so cool. Her students can create ebooks online of their life or their whatever, their emotions, what they feel. They can send the ebooks to their relatives in other countries. They can be translated into, I don't know how many languages, so that if they want to translate it, they can upload pictures. And it's just a wonderful project that the students learn communication and just sharing. It's got to be good for expression of your feelings. Very good. I liked the event. I think Colleen does a great job organizing this. Colleen Cadwaller, long name, I should complain. I then went to the Spaghetti Feed for the marching band, and it's, I think our marching band is the best thing that happened to Citrus Heights on the outside. And then, I went to Portland, Oregon for a week-long mosquito convention. Now, you don't think there's much to talk about for a week, but there sure was. And the interesting part is, you get to pick where you want to, which track you want to go to. And so I went to the one that the future of mosquito control is not chemical, and it's going to be non-chemical applications. Our mosquitoes are developing resistance to our treatments. We don't want chemicals on our stuff, so there's cool things where they use, oil to suffocate them. I like that. There's some essential oils, orange oils. Then they have some where they have perlite, the stuff you put in your plants that make your plants have aeration, and they mix that with yeast. The larvae eat that, and they can't do anything after that. That was cool. And then, of course, the genetic alteration of mosquito genes, the sterile males, they're either irradiated, or the Wolbachia that we're using in our district, where you put the Wolbachia in the males, they mate with the females, and the eggs don't hatch. That's a good one. Vice Mayor Middleton and I went to the Sacramento Food Bank to got a tour of their operations. It's a really incredible place. I'm sure she has stuff to say about that. I did go to the LAFCO meeting on April 1st because there was a SB 802 item on their agenda, which they took off the agenda after I got there. So just was because they were going to involve LAFCO. 802 is the Ashby bill that forces a JPA upon the cities and county. I did go to the Field Haven event. It was a comedy night. They raised a lot of money that night. Some of it's mine. So you missed the auction at the end. Some guy just bought 2 oxygen machines for him, and he said, I'll just buy those 2 machines. That was pretty cool. 2 other things. I went to Sewer this morning. We drove all the way at, how much is gas? Almost $6 a gallon. We drove all the way down to the county and back. And when I got there, there was no quorum. Each city has an alternate. Cities didn't show up except for Folsom. Elk Grove has 2 people on that board. They didn't bring an alternate. We couldn't conduct important business like refinancing our bonds, redoing our ordinance on sewer impact fees. And I am so ticked off that, if you have an obligation to attend a meeting, old fellow council members from other cities that might be watching this meeting, you have a duty to either send your alternate. We were one short. If any city had sent their alternate, Elk Grove didn't come, Rancho Cordova didn't come. And I just think, you know what? There was only one supervisor there, and it was disgusting. I drove all the way down there to have no meeting and just turn around and come home. And then the other announcement I want to make to the neighborhoods is now is the time to register for NUSA. I did register for it. It's a 2-day virtual conference. You don't have to fly. You don't have to stay at a hotel. And it's only $125 if you register by the end of April. Just to wet your whistle, some of the topics is crime, safety, security, and reentry. Community building is another track. Connecting through art. Engaging youth, which is something we want to do. Housing development. Neighborhood leadership development. Healthy living for seniors, and developing connections in multicultural communities, all of which are somewhere weaved into our strategic plan. So the neighborhoods may want to, attend these, see what you can gather from it. It's only $125. And so I'm sure that the neighborhoods that you go represent would help you out with that cost if you couldn't afford it. But it is a 2 days, sit in front of your computer and participate online. So I think it's a good thing. If you learn something, be sure to share it. And other than that, I think that's it for me. That's it.
Well, thank you. That's a lot. Vice Mayor.
Okay, let's see. On the 30th of March, I did go with Councilmember Kirkowski Costa. Yeah, to the Lunch and Learn at the Sacramento Food Bank, which we learn, ironically, is the actual only food bank in our region. Other agencies might say they're a food bank, but they're not actually a food bank. They're not licensed to do, like licensed to give out food in the way that this food bank is able to do that. we learned that they bought multiple, hundreds of dozens of eggs for 60 cents a dozen. That's the buying power of this organization when you are an actual food bank, because you qualify for specific programs. And what they do is they get all of that food and they distribute it to all of these food closets, pantries, at our schools, the meal boxes, even to the point where like they're collecting diapers, but only for children. Senior citizens cannot have diapers, which I find that to be wild. But that's something that, we're going to fix that, yes. On the 4th of April, I went to the Kiwanis Easter egg hunt, and once again, this was one of the largest turnouts. Every year it gets bigger and bigger, and we're so happy to sit there and to provide this, to the community. My husband does this all the time. Actually, the first year we moved to Citrus Heights, he went there and they looked at him and said, "Hey, you look like you're about the size of the Easter Bunny," and they threw him in the Easter Bunny costume, and that is how my husband got rooked into Kiwanis. True story. I just want to make sure that I remind parents that these are volunteers that are doing this, and some of the behavior there was very concerning and disappointing. And we remind folks that if you don't like it, if you feel like it can be done or run better, please consider donating and volunteering your time to Kiwanis, because the more hands we have into this, the easier it makes things. We discovered a new thing called pre-filled eggs. So this year, I did not have to pay my kids to stuff the eggs. I mean, stuffing, 7,000 eggs. I'd rather, donate money than do that again. And then today was a career day at Mesa Verde High School. I was so excited to see our motor units there. There was 3 of them. I think sometimes our officers forget that I am a mom. I have children that go to school. So when I saw them there, I was like, "Hey, can we take a photo?" And they're like, "Wait, what? No." And I'm like, I know you for like forever. And the other guy's like, "I'll do it to be complicit. I'll have to comply." And I'm like, if you don't want to take a photo with me, just say less, right? So we got the photo taken, but it was really nice to see how many kids came up to those bikes and were just like so excited. SMUD was there. Regina, I saw some folks that were there that were talking about like skilled trades and stuff. And I'm like, you don't know nothing about skilled trades until you've seen Regina's program. So I'll make sure I get some information next year so that the city of Citrus Heights can have more of a presence there on the campus. We got to get these youth when they're young and still kind of interested, kind of a captive audience. They can't go anywhere anyway, and kind of force them into a career. Get them, out there making money, taking care of their parents. I don't know. But that's been my 2 weeks.
All right. Okay. And for me, I had, on the 19th, I did my monthly briefing that usually Councilmember Schaefer and I do together with SAC-RT executive team. Also on the 19th, I did a SACOG tour of West Sacramento, and then we had our SACOG meeting. It was very interesting to see another city and their development and what they're planning on developing still. And so we did a pretty in-depth tour with the mayor of West Sac and got a great behind-the-scenes look at the growth of another city. So that's always fun to support others in that way. Also on the 19th, of course, I attended Josh Hoover's community meeting. Always nice to have our legislative representatives here. On the 23rd, I did attend the SAC-RT board meeting. There's actually also always a lot going on in transportation. They will be joining us at Cap to Cap to represent transportation interests, and lots of preparation on their end in that regard, because they also are looking for grant funds and appropriations. On the 26th, I have 2 meetings on Thursdays, SAC Air Quality Management District, where they are currently, we're in a reporting cycle with SAC Air Quality, where they are talking about different measurements that they've taken, where we are statistically with air quality, and also measurement instrumentation and where to best put those when they have to move. And so that constitutes a lot of our board meeting there. I actually had to skip my Sacramento Library Board because I had to get to the airport. And with TSA difficulties at that time, I was not going to risk missing my plane. And I went to...
Who was your alternate? Didn't send your alternate. We got to send our alternates.
I hear you. That's a pretty well-attended board meeting, so usually we're not in danger of losing quorum. On the 27th, I went to the Cal Cities Environmental Quality Policy Committee meeting and policy briefing. And so Cal Cities is an organization, we are a member organization, and they do advocacy days where we talk about various policies that are being debated in the legislature in buckets of policy categories, and I happen to be on the environmental quality because of my interest in air quality and a lot of conversation around water management in the state. As you can imagine, that's a multi-year conversation in the state of California, and so there's lots of bills surrounding water management and, of course, forestry management at this time. On the 2nd, Vice Mayor and I went to the grocery outlet ribbon cutting. I hope as a community you recognize that this is just such a wonderful event and wonderful asset in our community to have the grocery outlet occupying the space that was formerly known as the Rite Aid building there on Sunrise across from the mall. I also attended our Cap to Cap Workforce and Education Committee planning meeting. I've been on this particular planning committee for the last 3 years, and I'm very excited to see how we will lobby our legislators about growing workforce and training here in our local community, how we can support it, because again, the college track is not for everyone. How can we support more technical training and certifications for our future workforce, and aligning that with the industries that are coming to the region. Also attended with Councilmember Karpinski Costa, the Field Haven Feline Center fundraiser. It was wonderful to have comedians, and what I found really interesting was the comedians donated their time through the Punchline, and we had 7 comedians. What a wonderful way to support one of our local local assets and benefits to our community. And I just want to do a special thank you to Marissa Brown for planning and coordinating and emceeing our volunteer appreciation event this afternoon. You know, it's always so much fun to get to say thank you to our community members. So thank you, Marissa, for doing that, and that is my update. Next item, please.
Next item, we have the consent calendar. We have item 10, which is approval of minutes. We have item 11, which is adoption of annual strategic planning objectives. Item 12, the Primrose Drive and various repairs project award of construction contract. Item 13, resolution authorizing applications for grant funding from the Sacramento Area Council of Governments 2026 federal funding programs. Item 14, the Sunrise Tomorrow Frontage Improvement Project. Item 15, the annual comprehensive financial report, single audit report, and audited financial statements and compliance report for Transportation Development Act funds. And item 16, the approval of investment policy updates.
Thank you very much, Amy. Do we have any requests to pull items for conversation, comment, question?
Yes, Mayor, I have a request to pull item 11, but did I hear updates from Councilmember Nelson?
Yes, we did get an update from
I
Councilmember
just
Nelson.
wanted to missed it, so. Yes, I'd like to pull item 11, please.
Okay, so the request to pull item 11, please.
I'll move item 10.
It's just a brief comment, that's all.
Wait a minute, I'll
Thank
move
you.
item 10 and 12 through 16.
All right, we have a motion to move the other items.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Let's get that roll call vote.
Councilmember Karpinski Costa.
Yes.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Councilmember Schaefer.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Middleton.
Aye.
And Mayor Lopez Taft.
Yes. And for item 11, let's go ahead and get your comment. Councilmember
Well, the
Schaefer.
first thing I'd like to say is what an exceptional job the council did with city staff in setting up the three-year goals with the new opportunities that we have coming up with the Sunrise Mall area. Just a great job. The only comment that I had as I reviewed the economic development piece, I'm just going to read this briefly. I sent this in as a public comment, so Amy, there's no need to read this again, of course. But, so I'm just going to go through this. So with regard to the strategic plan, diversity for a vibrant economy, item number 15, I'd like to see it develop a strategy to advance investment, attraction, and attendant recruitment. This is what's in the goal. Efforts to secure complimentary hospitality, entertainment, dining, and housing retail uses for the sports center and position the Sunrise District as a regional destination. My comment is, we are all very pleased and to anticipate the arrival of the Sunrise Sports Center in the Sunrise District. The project will serve as a catalyst for a broad range of additional business opportunities in the area. In support of that initiative, I'd like to request a development of an annual budget for business recruitment and for this item, along with proportionate incentive contributions from all entities that will benefit from the resulting economic expansion. This strategy is expected to generate many millions of dollars in new revenue for the city, the county, and the state, and it's appropriate that all beneficiaries participate accordingly. I further recommend that these beneficiaries be presented with a proposal terms consistent with those required of the applicant or requested by the applicant as securing future revenue concessions will be essential to advancing this business opportunity. So if I need to make any clarity on that, I'd just like to see, let's get everybody to the table on this. When it comes to our ability to contribute to the incentives to have businesses move to Citrus Heights and to participate and to be at Sunrise, in the Sunrise District, our resources are very limited there. And the vast majority of the resources that will come to bear come from the city, from the county mostly. I don't anticipate a ton of participating in the state, but we should be pursuing grants, economic development grants from the state if they're available. This should be a comprehensive, and this is something I'll be looking for in any proposal for concessions, is that we do incorporate these other entities that will benefit from this. So that's my comment. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you very much for that well-thought-out comment, Councilmember Schaefer. I have to agree, and I think the strategic plan being written the way it is leaves lots of room for those details to be filled in. I also want to make an additional comment regarding our strategic planning process. You know, I just want to really thank the council for their hard work in committing to the day of this process, evaluating the information that's presented to us, reading all the information that's given prior, and for the staff teams that work so very hard to keep us informed, to come up with these very ambitious and focused items that end up on our strategic planning grid. So thank you, especially to our staff teams for making that day productive for all of us. So I appreciate that. Thank you, City Manager Feeney, for your leadership on leading that effort from the staff side.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council, for execution of a great retreat. Thank you.
Move item 11.
Okay, we have a motion to move item 11.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Let's have that roll call vote.
Councilmember Karpinski Costa?
Yes.
Councilmember Nelson?
Aye.
Councilmember Schaefer?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Middleton?
Aye.
And Mayor Lopez Taft.
Aye. Next item, please.
Next item is regular calendar, item number 17. The subject is approval of Sunrise Marketplace Property-Based Improvement District 2025 Annual Report. The recommendation is to adopt a resolution approving the Sunrise Marketplace 2025 Annual Report.
Good evening, Council. I'm Megan Huber, Economic Development and Community Engagement Director. I'll keep this introduction brief so that we can get to the meat of this agenda item. But essentially, this is an annual item that Council receives a presentation on with our community and economic development partner, the Sunrise Marketplace. That is a property business improvement district encompassing the area of the commercial district along Sunrise and Greenback, a very important economic engine to Citrus Heights. And as part of our partnership via the Management District Plan, which is the document that governs our partnership, Council receives an annual report from the organization for approval. The recommendation is to approve the resolution approving the report. And with that, I will bring up Executive Director Kathy Lynn Carpenter to give the presentation.
Welcome, Kathy Lynn.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, Director, City Manager. Thank you. So, as we noted, we do present a report once a year. And as you know, we have been around 26 years. I personally have been here 26 years, having helped form the PBID. And I sometimes think, next slide, that we're kind of in the background. I don't know if y'all or anyone thinks of us as much because we're just kind of working away there in the background. And I admit, I don't talk to my staff about this. I don't think we're as good about tooting our own horn and promoting our successes. We're not very good about jumping on LinkedIn and, making those posts. There are only 3 of us, and we have a pretty big footprint, as Megan noted. And I was thinking back to when we did form in our first strategic planning session, and these were basically the goals that we came up with back then, and they haven't changed. They're really the same. Everything we do is to further these goals, which again have remained the same year over year. Might be more emphasis on one or another, but for the most part, those are our goals and have been. We renewed 5 times. Our current term is 2025 to 2034. It's our first 10-year term, so we're excited about that. You guys have the report, so I'm not going to go through all of the statistics, but I did want to highlight a few things because the numbers are good this year. So we're seeing a downward trend. It began, I want to say about September, October of last year, where we began to see a decrease in transient and homeless activity in the district. I'm going to attribute this to just our constant patrols for years. I think are finally having some impact there. They don't like having their things taken away. Obviously, they don't want to have to move from place to place all the time. But what this allows us to do is be able to increase our proactive work. So we can do more foot patrols, more vehicle patrols. We can be very present and visible in the district. We can do, oftentimes I'll have them do assessments, who does or doesn't have tow signage, things like that. Are stop signs missing inside a center, or is it not painted clearly on the ground? So we can do more of that kind of proactive stuff. We've also been very, very aggressive with our 602s. As you can see, we issued 88 602s last year. We probably have a little over 100 or more active 602s. They do expire after a year. They're pretty smart. I don't think we've had one violate a 602. They know. I mean, we've heard them say, oh, I can't be there, I got to trespass there. So they have been effective. Unfortunately, because they don't violate that 602, and that's when we can get a citation, we have many that will have 4 or 5 602s all over the district, but that doesn't count to get a citation under the chronic offender program. So unfortunately, they kind of know not to be in that same place. But you can see that we're still having a lot, 2,215 interactions with our transient homeless population, 1,667 loitering and trespassing incidents. But again, that's down. Generally, we would see about 250 to 300 interactions a month, and now we're seeing 80. So it's a big decrease this year. Unfortunately, trash is still an issue. We picked up 64,000 pounds of trash. A lot of this is camp debris. After we clear a camp, then of course we have to go in and clean up afterward. And really, an odd amount of people just throw their trash around, or they empty their car, in parking lots. We see a lot of that. They clean out their cars and dump their trash out. We picked up 529 shopping carts. We do return them where they belong. And we cleared 436 graffiti tags. We just recently changed our porter vendor because our prior vendor would not use our pressure washer. We did invest a couple of $1,000s in a pressure washer because many tags are on brick or places that you cannot paint, and we wanted to be able to clear those too without paying an extra amount. So our current vendor will do that, and so we'll begin clearing those tags as well. We did remove 34 large illegal dumps and nearly 400 dumped items. So trash, residential dumping, these remain our biggest issues in terms of maintenance. And from a security standpoint, I'll have to say that the juveniles in the district right now is a real problem. From what I'm seeing on Facebook and Nextdoor posts, it appears to be citywide. So this is something that we want to address. Obviously, they are at the mall quite a bit. They're at the Firestone building quite a bit. I have a person back there, he's an ASPCA volunteer, he feeds the ferals, and he calls me pretty much every night to let me know they're back there. And I go by Firestone pretty much every night on my way home from the gym to see what's going on there.
Kathy Lynn,
Yes.
if we can pause here, we have Vice Mayor has a comment?
Oh, yeah, but I think you might have already answered it for me about the juveniles in the district. I noticed that the little banner's on there, and I want to know, out of what's here on the screen for us, what, is there a percentage of like increase, like are the juveniles, like what are they doing outside of like maybe loitering, trespassing? Could you give me a little more information?
Yes, so they ride around in gangs. I don't know if this happened to you, it's happened to me, where they will approach my car head-on and then split off at the last minute. I see that quite a bit. I was at the mall one day, and I stopped and took pictures, and they all surrounded my car, started screaming at me and cursing at me and yelling and saying I couldn't take pictures. Lots of pictures of these. I'm telling you, little kids with gigantic crowbars on their way to Sears to break in. Constantly at Firestone, breaching that building. They used to be at Elephant Bar a lot, but they have not been there recently. They ride up and down inside the mall with their bikes and throw water bottles and threaten tenants and this type of activity. There isn't a lot of security at the mall. Sometimes they just don't show up, so we do a fair amount of foot patrols over there and vehicle patrols. I have no idea who did that swatting incident at Target, and maybe we know now, but if we don't, I'd have to guess it was those kids. I think they have a pretty far-ranging area, too. Now, the police have come out twice just recently when we have called to say, hey, they're here. They caught a couple of them, so we're going to call your parents. And I think they were more afraid of that than going to jail, quite frankly. I would like to see some stronger confiscating their bikes, or, I think something to make them see this is serious behavior.
Now, Kathy Lynn, just to expand that question, thank you for bringing that up. Is it a known group? Is it a specific group of juveniles that gather together to be a nuisance? Or is it a changing group of
It's more than one group, so we have pictures of several of the kids. And there's some that are around a lot, but yes, they can change out. But there is a group that is around more often than not. And I know mall security is wary of them because they have said, they've torn their clothes and said, we're going to say you sexually abused us if you call.
Oh my gosh.
And so they kind of have a light hand and will call us and we'll come over. So it's just, I think it's something we're going to delve into at our Clean and Safe Committee meeting with the POP team and see what kind of strategies we can come up with.
Does the same thing happen across the street at Birdcage?
Yeah, and Walmart and Target, they were all riding around inside the Target store, and the police came out and were able to get them out of there. Yeah, Walmart's another place. I've seen the kids at Gum Ranch, too. When I've been coming from the gym, I've run into them there, and around that Sunrise East area, Walnut Hills area there, I've seen
I
them
didn't
there.
want to, derail the presentation too much. Hopefully with the new mall ownership with redevelopment, a lot of this will start to disappear, but I just want to know what the impact was on that. Thank you for elaborating.
Of course. Me. And obviously, I have thousands of pictures throughout the year, but just give you an idea of some of the stuff we deal with. These are contractor dumps. I went through all of this, and we did find labels for the contractor. I called him. He said, oh, no. I said, well, it's your junk hauler. It may not, maybe it's not you, but it's your junk hauler who you paid to take to the dump, who is dumping here. We don't get a lot of these, but when we get them, they're like this. They're really big dumps. And then, Megan, sorry. And then of those nearly 400 items I talk about, these are area residents. I'm not going to say they're all Citrus Heights residents. They could be, just in the area here. And they drop off all kinds of items, anything you can imagine. And I know I say this a lot and every year, but I want to say it again, that we really appreciate that we're able to take these things to the city yard and not have to go all the way out to the dump with them. Otherwise, all of our time would be going to and from the dump. So this is very helpful. I don't know why people do this, but they do. And there isn't really any clear solution for it except for us to just stay on top of it and have a zero tolerance for it. Megan?
I am curious if I can interrupt you on that and ask, where are most of these dumps located? Are they in like the abandoned kind of mall area?
Usually at our vacant buildings. So we try to touch our vacant buildings. We have a list of hot spots that we sit down and talk to our porter and security about. So a lot of those hot spots, not surprisingly, are vacant buildings. A lot of the dumps are at the mall because you have so much parking space behind Firestone. Union Bank, kind of a new area, is behind Quick Quack and that grass area back there. Seeing some dumps there. Pretty much everywhere, but yes, a large part at the mall, I would say, happens there. This one I just was interesting because this was a Roseville resident who dumped all of his Amazon boxes for I don't know what kind of time period. And I went through them and I got his address and I drove to his house and I said, sir, I think you forgot something. You left something at the mall and would you like to come and pick it up? And he turned beet red and said, oh my God, yes. And he got in his truck and came and got his stuff. So obviously we don't always get a clear-cut address like that, but we do always look for labels and try and contact people. Yes, Megan, sorry. More fun stuff. Oh, marketing. I should say Clean and Safe is a large priority. It doesn't matter what we do with events or marketing or social media if it isn't safe and clean in the district. And we renewed on safe and clean. And so this is why we prioritize, fund it as well as we can, because it is a priority. Obviously, I don't have any evidence to say, but I do believe that us being out there every day, patrolling, doing burns to mitigate shoplifting has helped drive the overall CHPD numbers down as well, because we're there taking care of that area, and we're very visible. And so I think that has helped. I think it's been very beneficial. And of course, all of our clean efforts mean that the beautification crew can focus on other areas, and they don't have to come into the district. In fact, I don't think they do, or they rarely do, they told me. So social media is one of our bigger areas. We gave away more than $15,000 in gift cards. So if anyone's listening, if you're not following our Facebook page, please do. We give away something every week. We're doing a Flash Friday now. Every Friday we give away a gift card. So it's a really good way for us to create awareness for the district and bring people out once they've gotten that gift card to go shopping here. Megan? We also create awareness by communicating with our community and businesses. We have a 10,000 list consumer newsletter. We sent 27, and we just let them know whatever's going on. We will generally pass on city information as well that you guys are pushing out. We'll push that out as well. And of course, we communicate with our 350 businesses as well and keep them in the loop on everything that's going on. We run 2 ads every single day in the Sentinel, and we run ads in the Messenger as well when we're running events. Again, just to keep our name out there, let people know what's going on. And that's been pretty successful. We have 3.7 million impressions from those ads. And of course, we do special events. So I think these are important. These are our 2, this is one of our big signature events, our movie night. We don't know what's going to happen or whether we will be able to do it at the mall. That's something we're trying to kind of figure out. If that area in front of Men's Macy's isn't available, I think we'll talk to Ethan and see if there's somewhere around the Sears that we can do it. Because it's a pretty big, you can see it's a pretty big event, so you can't really do that anywhere else but at the mall. But we had a great, a really great turnout. It was a fun event. I think we did learn that it probably wasn't the right movie for kids, so we'll do a more young kid-friendly event. But everyone dresses up in costume, and it's just a really fun event. You should come out. The second event, Megan, thank you. The second event we do every year is the Laser Light Show, and this again is super well attended. Just want to say we were out there from 9 in the morning until like 11 at night, and it was 41 degrees the whole time. It was freezing. But people came, and they had a great time. I don't know if you know, but the guys who do our laser light show and have been doing it for years and years do the beam for the Kings. And so they did a little beam for us, and that was pretty fun. They also did a Christmas beam in red and green. So that was a lot of fun. And we had Santa, and we had the car show is always fun because they deck their cars out in lights and everything. And again, we had a ton of people come out. So it's just a really, I think these events are really important. Like we just had our backyard bash at Jamba Juice. We're trying to experiment with smaller spaces, and that area behind Jamba Juice is a really kind of neat space with the mural and trees and flowers. And Garrity, they're just really good to work with, and they like to have these kind of things animate their space there. And it was a great event. You never know when you throw an event. You just don't know. Maybe no one's going to come. You just never know. But a ton of people came. They danced. They listened to the band. We had food trucks. Rotary did our beer and wine garden. Dark Heart had the beer. So it was just a really, and you know, you just look out and you're like, wow, this is so nice that people are out, not on their phones. They're out in the fresh air with friends and families. We had a ton of dogs come, you know, and you're just like, this is just so great. It's why things like the sports complex are so important, you know, to get people out of their homes and away from their phones. I just think it's really important. And that's one of the reasons we're so excited about that project. So we're kind of strategizing to see what we'll do when that mall area is not available to us, how we can try and find other smaller places that we can do events. Yes, I'm sorry. And our last event at Sunrise Rollerland, we'll talk to the new owners and see if they're interested in us doing themed skate nights. This was the finale season for Stranger Things, so we got a lot of participation, everyone dressed up. We did a Stranger Things event a few years ago, and it was just super popular. And so we did another one for their final season, and that was a lot of fun. And the Rollerland, it's really good for them, and it helped them bring traffic there. So again, we'll talk to them and see if maybe we can't keep doing those. Megan? So we also support and promote economic development. We don't have a huge amount of money dedicated to economic development. Our board kind of has told us that, we're not brokers, we don't own, as Sunrise, the PBID itself doesn't really own anything. But we do work very closely with brokers. Oftentimes brokers call me because they kind of know that I know everyone, in the district and at the city, and so I often get a lot of calls from brokers and help them however I can. We help them get through the entitlement process, any questions they have, talk to them about the added value of being in the PBID and the things we can offer them. And we do have some good opportunities in the district. The former Rite Aid, Party City, obviously, sadly, the Amazon Fresh, former Joanne, and of course, Sears and Sunrise Mall. So we look at those as opportunities for new things to come and fill those in. And we are a really big part of our community. I don't know if everyone knows how much we do for so many other groups, nonprofits in the city, anywhere from Rotary, Citrus Heights Heart, the Chamber. We support all city events. We sponsor them. We push out the information. We support if our owners are doing events. The Garrity Group at Marketplace at Birdcage, they're very big on events, and they do their own events, and we support those financially and with equipment and things, and they really appreciate that. We collected more than 1,000 items for the food bank as well, and we participated in the Big Day of Service, and of course, we'll participate again this year. You have the financials. I don't really have any comments there. The management district plan deems how we spend our money. This is kind of the only problem. Well, I guess it's not a problem with a 10-year term. It used to be, but now most PBIDs do what we do, which is to put most everything in that district enhancement pot, and that allows us to say, oh, maybe we want to do a little bit more in marketing, so then we'll shift a little money. Whereas it used to be, you'd say, 50%, here, and you really couldn't deviate from it. So if things get, bad out there again, we can shift and we can move more money back into clean and safe. So it gives us a good flexibility in that respect. And I guess that's about it. Anybody have any questions?
Questions, comments? Yes.
I am so sorry that you go through what you go through with the trash and the vandalism and all that negative stuff that started your presentation. I'm just so sorry that you go through that. But on a positive note, did you see the Messenger today, not the Messenger, the Sentinel, the picture of 1972 opening? Well, that was a great photo. And that came from the Citrus Heights History people. What a great photo if you haven't seen it. It's people, black and white photos, people standing in front of the mall when it opened.
It's bittersweet. I mean,
We don't
spent a lot of time at the mall. We did, I don't know, thousands of events at the mall over
But
the
the Sunrise
years.
Tomorrow plan is so cool
Oh,
that there's going to
absolutely.
be Sunrise
That's
Tomorrow.
why I say these things are opportunities for, we've never had any vacant space, right, in the district. So you had Montgomery Wards, and that became Lowe's. You had the old Good Guys, that became the Smashburger AT&T Center. So you just see this constant kind of turnover.
Vice Mayor.
Overall, outside of the challenges that you're experiencing, the financials look good. You guys have done a really great job of keeping the community engaged. There's always something happening in the district. And I also appreciate the fact that you were very focused on finding more ways to make the events more family-friendly, like partnering with the skating rink and just being more diverse in thought, because the goal is to bring in more families. And so
Yes.
pivoting now is going to help you throughout this 10-year term. So great work, and I love the presentation.
Yes. The Backyard Bash, it does have a wine and beer garden, but it's, you don't have to drink. You can be outside of that wine and beer garden, and we saw kids there, so absolutely.
Wonderful. Any other comments? Yeah, Councilmember Nelson.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you very much for this report. And I encourage you to continue reporting anything that happens, on site. I know PD is very interested in cleaning everything up, and preventing the crime. I'm curious too about if the tenants know about C-Click Fix as well, for some of these other things that are kind of.
I'm sorry, about what?
Oh, C-Click Fix.
Oh, yes, I use that all the time personally.
Okay, perfect, yes. Yeah, between that and then actually reporting the crimes to the PD, I think you're doing the best job you can do on that. And then I am just super optimistic about everything happening with the mall redevelopment, and I have faith that you're experiencing kind of the worst, of what the area could be with all the vacancies at the moment. But there's so much opportunity and growth and so much excitement and so much to be optimistic about. So I'm really looking forward to kind of going on that journey along with you.
We see the light at the end of the tunnel, for sure, yes.
I have to agree with the comments of my colleagues. It is very difficult to hear that there are safe and clean efforts that, just take a lot of effort over time, and yet we have so much to be excited and hopeful for in that mall area redevelopment. And so thank you so much, Kathy and Lynn, for your faithful service and your report today. Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate the
All
time.
right, now with that, did you have additional information, Megan?
Negative.
All right, perfect. Do I have a motion on this item?
I so move. Move approval.
All right, we move to accept. Is it move to accept that you're looking for?
Move to approve the resolution approving the annual report.
Okay, all right, so we have a motion
Second.
and a second. Let's do that roll call vote.
Councilmember Karpinski Costa.
Yes.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Councilmember Schaefer.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Middleton.
Aye.
And Mayor Lopez Taft.
Yes, thank you. Next item, please.
Next item is regular calendar, item number 18. The subject is consider policy adoption for public meeting disruption procedures under Brown Act Amendments SB 707. The recommendation is to adopt a resolution adopting a policy on disruption of telephonic or internet service during public meetings. And council members, just briefly, just have a brief presentation providing an overview of this policy. So recently, the governor signed SB 707, which made significant changes to the open meeting laws. And so here before you is just some significant changes to the open meetings law. The first one is effective July 1st, 2026. The city council must provide remote public participation for all regular city council meetings, or for all city council meetings. This remote public participation shall be either two-way audiovisual or two-way telephonic platform. And the remote access must provide public comment remotely with the same allotment, the same time allotment as for in-person attendees, which currently we have a 3-minute speaker limit time. And also on or before July 1st, 2026, the City Council is required to adopt a disruption policy in case of internet disruption. So just very briefly, this policy basically provides that if there is an internet disruption during a City Council meeting where remote public access is being provided, that when they have the internet disruption, the City Council must immediately take a recess of the meeting to begin working on the issue with the internet. And the city council must remain in recess for at least 1 hour or until the internet service is restored, so whichever is sooner. And if after that time, this service is not restored, the city council can either reconvene and immediately adjourn the meeting to a future date and time to finish the remainder of the business, or the city council could continue with the regular meeting without the remote public participation by taking a roll call vote, making findings that good faith efforts were made to restore the service, and the public interest in continuing outweighs the public interest in remote public access. And so with that, the recommendation is to adopt a resolution formally adopting a city council policy on disruption of telephonic or internet service during public meetings that would take effect in July 1st of 2026. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Do we have any questions for Amy?
I do, Mayor.
All right, please.
Thank you. A question that just came up for me was, just to confirm, there is a way to differentiate if a speaker has an internet problem on their end, right? Like, we know our system is up and working. We won't have to delay if, God forbid, they have a problem on their end.
Correct. The way the legislation is written is if the city internet service causes a disruption where we're unable to, the Zoom link, goes down, or, the broadcast goes down. If that occurs during a city council meeting, then we would have to recess.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor.
Yes, please.
Who provides,
Mayor?
is it us that provides the internet, or is it the cable guys in the back? How is that provided?
Well, the city, we currently have internet service.
That's our
in the building.
YouTube channel type thing?
Well, our internet services, we have Wi-Fi. We also have a connected Ethernet connection that's used for all of city staff computers. So
if I'm home and I want to participate, I Zoom in, or I go to so you'll send a Zoom link out? Is that how that works?
Correct. So when we post the agendas, it will include the options for participating in the meeting, which is if they wanted to participate remotely, they could join the Zoom link and listen to the meeting, and there will be procedures if they wish to speak on an item on how to do that.
And
They
they're
also
audio
can.
only. And they're audio only.
Correct. And they are audio only. And then we also have the YouTube Live, which there's no remote public participation with that link, but the public has the ability to view the meetings or to come in person to our meetings, or on Metro Cable Channel 14.
And I have one other question. I found out this morning when I was at sewer meeting that was canceled by the cable guy that we are the only city that reads public comments that are emailed in. Is this an opportunity for us to add a policy that public comments that are emailed in just get attached to the council so that we see it here? Or is this something I got to bring up under future agenda items? So that we don't read them anymore? We're the only city that reads them, he says. So the other cities just attach them to the council agenda.
Yeah, it's not sorry, I'll wait in for a second, but that is not a Brown Act requirement. It's something that, as a policy, the council.
So it's a separate item I can bring up later?
We could, yeah, we could revisit that. As
Okay.
we got to make some changes by July 1st anyways. Perhaps that's something we can look at as well.
Okay, thanks.
All right, and
So-
I heard Councilmember Schaefer, yes.
Thank you, Mayor. So I kind of, this doesn't do anything to address Zoom bombing and other intentional disruptive behaviors on the part of the public commenters. We've had numerous cases where multiple people will come in and just simply for the purpose of disrupting the meeting. Do we have a policy on that, or can we set a policy, or how does that? I'd like to explore what we can do with that.
Yes, Councilmember Schaefer. So one of the additional changes that SB 707 implemented, which I did not discuss as part of this item tonight, is that if there are any disruptions where members of the public, as you stated, are Zoom bombing our meeting, we would treat that disruption as we do any other disruption if it were to occur in person. So we would ask the individual to stop what they were doing. If the council needs to take a recess, we would take a recess, but we would follow those procedures that we would already normally follow if we had a disruption that occurred in person.
Understood. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, do I have a motion? Oh, are there any public comments?
I do not have any public comments for this item.
Okay, now do we have a motion?
I recommend we adopt resolution adopting the city council policy on disruption of telephone and internet service during public meetings.
Second.
I second.
Okay, and let's take that roll call vote.
Councilmember Karpinski Costa?
Yes.
Councilmember Nelson?
Aye.
Councilmember Schaefer?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Middleton?
Aye.
And Mayor Lopez Taft.
Aye. Next item, please.
Next item is city manager items.
Well, good evening, Madam Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, members of the City Council. Ash Feeney, your city manager, with a few updates. One, that we are going to have an update on this at our first meeting in May, but it's great to see Councilmember Schaefer tonight. And you spoke very eloquently about the need for blood. And the blood drive that the city staff is working with Vitalant on right now, Vice Mayor Middleton had reached out to me and said, hey, can we do a blood drive, to help support Councilmember Schaefer's efforts, and Councilmember Schaefer has agreed to allow that to happen. So this is a very collegial council that supports one another, and just appreciated that effort. And we're going to have a blood drive on May 15th from noon to 6 p.m. And that'll be here at City Hall. We're going to definitely put more publicity out on that. But our next meeting, where we'll talk about this with the slide and everything, isn't until that first meeting in May. So if you're watching out there, please mark your calendars down. Like I said, we'll make sure that it's well publicized, but certainly there's a real need for blood out there. And so you'll have an opportunity here in Citrus Heights to be part of the solution. So we're looking forward to that event. Again, May 15th.
Does it have to be Tim's blood type?
All blood types help.
Oh.
So all blood
Yes.
types help.
Absolutely. All blood types help.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
hey, Tim, Ted gave, I
Yes.
think, and they didn't know your name when he went to Vibrant, and Ted gave down there, and they didn't have you on the list.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that they can direct it towards an individual, but the fact that the blood drive's happening helps increase the overall supply of blood in the system.
I thought they could direct it to an individual.
I may be mistaken, but I believe that's what the rep that I spoke to had told me, so. But we'll have more information ahead of the blood drive.
Yeah, my blood type is A negative, and it's very rare. Only about 15% of the population is A negative.
But O is a universal donor, right?
Well, they won't use, for my disease, for leukemia, they won't substitute O negative. They could do O negative, or, if you were in a car accident or you have a surgery or something like that, they could use O negative, but for my disease, they will not substitute O negative for A negative.
Well, we're gonna make sure to talk about the different blood types, and we're gonna do our level best to get some education around this issue out too.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
This is a fun one. Postcards from Citrus Heights, a community photo contest. We are a Tree City USA. We have some beautiful areas of the city. The entire city's beautiful. And so we have some tree photo submissions that are being solicited from April 22nd to May 13th. There'll be community and staff voting for this photo contest. And there's 3 different categories: youth, community member, and professional. And so we are hoping that we have a lot of participation around this. And you can see we have a website link there as well. So we know everybody has an opportunity to take a picture these days. So please participate. Cool Grant Program. This is a policy the City Council adopted as part of the last strategic plan. It's beautifying the city. And so this helps provide a cooler environment. canopy over the tree, over our parking lots grant program is now open. So this was kind of almost like a pilot that the council was exploring. So that opportunity now exists. So for commercial property that's looking to beautify their property through the use of shade trees in parking lots, that can be kind of a tough proposition to do on your own. So it's important to our city council. And so there's some matching funds that are available to shade parking lots. And there's an application process. You can find more information at the link below. And it's getting warm, so I'm sure we'll all appreciate some additional shade. May is Bike Month, the community bike ride. This May's Bike Month is great. Actually, I think my first year working here, with our city engineer, was able to participate in this along with Mary Poole as well, and we did a bike ride there. But that's on May 7th from 3 to 4:30. There'll be a community bike ride. It'll be guided, and that'll be from C-Bar C to Tempo Park. We have a fantastic trail system in that area for people to enjoy. So they'll get to learn about our trails. We have our trail map. And then, an opportunity to meet your neighbors and do some pedal power. So it'll be a lot of fun. So free event, definitely bring your bike, and a helmet is very important too. So composting, we're in spring season, and we have free compost available here at City Hall. Actually, the bin that we used to do sandbags for the rain is now full of some rich compost. And that's available for free for residents to come and get using buckets and shovels. There's also free compost sites at Miller's Ace Hardware, as well as a Sylvan Ranch Community Garden. And the addresses are listed there as well. And C-Bar C also has a compost site. The Republic Service, along with the city of Citrus Heights, is going to be hosting a free compost workshop, and it is a event that we're looking to get kind of RSVP list together. So you can see there's a link there. That's April 25th at 10 a.m., and that's at the Sylvan Ranch Community Garden. And this is something to, as we have been working through that, the waste hauling contract, we're going to be looking to enhance some of these compost events in the future where people can really have an easier way to get it outside of shovels and buckets. So, but certainly opportunities here. Earth Day, wow, May's Bike Month, composting, Earth Day, it definitely feels like spring. So there's a Chip-In Day that is being organized, and that's on Wednesday, April 22nd. That's from 8:30 to 12:30, and that's going to be meeting here at Fountain Square. Around the area, we've seen when many hands make lighter work, you can do a lot of great things, and we see that as we've beautified different areas in the city. So our General Services Department will be running this event again on Earth Day, April 22nd from 8:30 to 12:30. I know the council loves to participate in this. Earth Day happens to fall on the day that the cap-to-cap trip that was talked about earlier is a return that day. So I know you'll all be there in spirit. We also have a volunteer open house. We had the great volunteer reception today, and we'll have an opportunity for individuals that want to learn more about volunteering, which is something that we're looking to further enhance here. That'll be on Tuesday, April 28th from 1:30 to 3:30, and that'll be at the Citrus Heights Event Center. So we'll have staff there, we'll have opportunities to tour the facility, and look forward to seeing what we can do to increase our volunteer pool. And then finally is the Cap-to-Cap program, which has, as Councilmember Schaefer mentioned earlier, we've seen a lot of benefit by participation in that, and it's really helped us secure some federal dollars in prioritization for Citrus Heights projects. So that trip does conflict with our next regular meeting, so we are going to have a recess for that, and the next meeting will be on May 13th. And that is the conclusion of my updates.
Any questions for Ash? Thank you so much for that update. And next item, please.
Next item is items requested by council members, and we did have item number 19, which is this discussion of the city's regulations for temporary signs placed in the public right-of-way. So at a previous council meeting, 2 members of the city council requested to agenda-ize an item to discuss the city's regulations for temporary signs placed in the public right-of-way. So tonight, some discussion items that I will provide a brief overview of the city's regulations for temporary signs within the public right-of-way, enforcement practices, issues and challenges, and some items for city council consideration. So the Citrus Heights Municipal Code, the city's regulations state that no sign shall be allowed in the public right-of-way except for specific signs, which I've listed some examples there. Any sign unlawfully placed is subject to confiscation by the city, and the city has the right to recover the full costs related to the removal and disposal. The city's current enforcement practices is routine removal of any unauthorized signs that may be placed in the public right-of-way area, respond to complaints from either residents or businesses, issue administrative citations that may result in fines in certain situations. And then lastly, education and outreach, providing guidance to community groups, campaigns, and businesses regarding compliant sign placement. Some issues and challenges. One is that in election years, the city tends to see a surge of unlawfully placed signs in the city's public right-of-way. Political signs may be placed 90 days before an election and must be removed within 10 days after the election, and this is on private property with the owner's consent. During election periods, Citrus Heights City Council candidates are provided with the city's guidelines on where political signs may be placed. And of course, they are not allowed in the public right-of-way and may be removed and disposed of by the city. And during peak election seasons, if staff does receive complaints or see signs that are in the public right-of-way, we do remove the signs, bring them to City Hall, and we make contact with the candidate or a campaign committee to advise them of how they can come and collect their signs. And then we also educate them on the city's regulations if they are maybe not a Citrus Heights City Council candidate. We also work closely with the Sacramento Voter Registration and Elections Office to also provide some education to other candidates and campaign committees. So some items for the council's consideration. So I've listed two specific items. The first is consider adjustments to the current regulations and enforcement measures, or maintain existing municipal code regulations and increase public education and outreach. And in considering the first item, adjustments to current regulations, a council member shared regulations from the city of Mountain House, and under those regulations, a fine of $350 is imposed for each day that a structure or object is within the public right-of-way. And the fine is assessed following a 10-day notice to the responsible individual to go and remove the sign. If the council considered an enforcement structure like this, it could require a significant amount of additional staff time to monitor sign placement, notification to the responsible parties if we're able to determine the individuals responsible, coordinating removal, and then ultimately removing violations. Additional signage would be required to inform the public of any penalties or fines. However, installing more signs may unintentionally contribute to visual clutter, detract from community aesthetics, and increase the city's ongoing maintenance responsibilities. And so lastly, the council may consider maintaining the city's existing regulations, and staff could increase public education and outreach during peak election seasons when we typically see a surge in unlawfully placed signs. And this could include through the city's website, newsletter that we send out, through social media, just some public awareness on where Specifically, campaign sign or political signs may be placed appropriately and where they cannot be placed. And so with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that the city council may have, but the items before you are for council's consideration and discussion.
All right, so this is an item for discussion. Do we have comments, questions, ideas, thoughts?
Mayor, I have a comment.
Yes, Councilmember Schaefer.
So, you know, we see this often. We often see it with commercial businesses. Not so long ago, there was a pool business that had placed more than 50 signs down Greenback Lane in the public right of way. This ultimately turns it, you know, how much staff time is it going to take for staff to go and collect all those signs? It really is, and when I've spoken to folks who have placed signs illegally, and these particular individuals were from, they weren't city candidates in this particular case. They were running for more regional offices, and their attitude was, hey, so what do we lose a sign? It's only $3 for a sign. Very laissez-faire about obeying sign ordinances. And again, while I appreciate the fact that we have city staff that can go on and collect these signs, I think that there should be some reimbursement for that staff time. If they're going to choose to place a sign illegally, they should receive a fine for that. And I was driving through Mountain House and I saw the sign posted by the city about the sign ordinance. I'm like, well, that's $350 a day seems pretty excessive, but nonetheless, it seemed to be a deterrent for people placing signs illegally.
Thank you, Councilmember Schaefer. Any other comments?
Well, I want, I had lunch with one of the council members from Folsom when I was reading my agendas, and she said that, what if, Tim, your opponent goes and takes a whole bunch of your signs and puts them down the median, and they're not, you didn't put them there, so somebody else put them there for you? So what would stop someone from doing that to you?
What's the likelihood of my opponent having access to my campaign
Right.
signs?
Well, they took them from your legally placed positions and put them all into illegal spots. So.
Well, if I got a notice, I think it might behoove me to go and pick them up regardless of how they got placed.
Well, I know Armando picks up political signs like crazy. He loads his truck with them. They're just everywhere.
Vice Mayor, you had a comment.
Right. To address what Jana said, folks can be pretty nefarious. What's to stop folks from printing your signs and putting them out there, right? It's weird out here. But my next concern is, like, are we going to do this across the board? Are we just focusing on political signs? Are we going to say it's okay for businesses and nonprofits to do this? The BID does the same thing, where they put out signs for their events, and they're up and down the public right-of-way. I mean, are we going to do that? Are we going to find the BID? I mean, what is I think we should take a step back and do what we normally do as a city, which is try education first. If education doesn't work, then, take the stick and say, okay. But
So
300.
do we have Amy, I would ask, do we have an exception for nonprofits that are out posting for their events and things like that they can place signs on the public right away right now?
No, I'm not aware of any exemptions for specific nonprofits in our sign ordinance.
So I want to chime in here and just say, I see both sides of this conversation, where if it is egregious, so if there are 50 pool signs for a business and they think they can just camp out in our public right-of-ways, I think that's an egregious abuse of our leniency in this particular code. And could there be an adjustment so that we say, over 5 signs, because someone may have signs for their yard sale. But I do agree with Vice Mayor that we should start with public education. I don't know when the last time was that we did concentrated public education around signage, whether it be political signage or other signage. I think it must be time to have a pretty good education and outreach program for this.
I agree with the mayor. I think if you see a babysitting sign or a, dog training sign, and it has a phone number on there, you call them up and say, are you aware that this sign violates our municipal code? Would you like me to hold this sign? You can pick it up, or you want me to just toss it for you? But, you can't put them in there in the future. And that, I think public education is the way to start out. I don't think we've done that. I don't think we've called up the babysitters and the dog trainers and said that their signs are illegal. Maybe they don't realize they are.
Yeah.
I want us to comment on that. I want us to be very careful because with the recent moving of Black Sales Coffee, the pastry shop that was next to Black Sales, and so Citrus Heights on Facebook and social media is getting this kind of reputation of being anti-business, that we're doing things to constrict and not support. I can see that this would be.
I see it as part of the CARES campaign, is like,
Folks, if you have a problem, I guess they could see, click, fix it, right? But I worry about businesses feeling like they don't have the right to, try to self-promote and that we're.
oh, so you support putting signs in the median strips and all
No,
that?
I'm not saying that, but I'm also saying finding somebody $350 a day.
No, I'm not saying any
wild.
fines. I'm saying
you know,
you call and tell them.
Taking a little 15-year-old's babysitting money is cruel.
No, I did not even mention it.
No, I know, this is me just, elaborating on what my own internal thought is, right? I'm trying to find
I'm
that.
not into fining.
I'm trying to find that balance there, but also like public education, but also recognizing we don't want to, want business to feel restricted as well. So there's a way to thread that needle.
Councilmember Nelson.
Thank you, Mayor. I do agree with that, that we can thread the needle. I think education is very important. In my past career, selling residential real estate, I recall attending kind of a lecture on where you can put your open house signage from the Placer County Association of Realtors, and it really stuck with me. They emphasized safety, roadway safety, and drivers being able to see where they're going. So, they told us you cannot put your signage in the visibility triangle in the corner of an intersection, and certainly not in the median. So I think if we focus on education and kind of an emphasis on safety, hopefully that message will really resonate with people. And then secondly, from a marketing perspective, I am certainly not calling any company who has their sign in the median. Like personally, it's a bad look. So I would just encourage businesses not to do that.
I'll call them.
So I think there's a way to move forward without crazy fines. And I have faith that we can just focus on education to start.
I like that emphasis on safety. Our surveys that Megan has done has shown that safety is a top priority. And if we kind of couch it in that and say that that's what the purpose is for, I think we can really find a way to make that work.
Yeah. All right. Any other comments, last comments? Amy, do you have enough from our discussion?
So just to confirm, the council consensus is to maintain our existing regulations, but to increase the public education and awareness regarding all signs and placement within the public right-of-way.
I think that's what you're hearing from us here. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, it looks like we are to the end of our agenda tonight. Any other comments? Future agenda items?
Future agenda item, can we agendize the possibility of having written, we've received written public comments before that were not read into the record. We've had them attached for lots of items. So I'm just wondering if we could make that a policy so that people who submitted in writing know that it will be attached and not read out loud. Can we agendize that for discussion? Is that the way
I
it
would
works?
support that.
Yeah,
I'd give that a second.
Fourth.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
I also have a new agenda item, Mayor.
All right, go for it, Tim.
So, and I did reach out to, I think all of us saw the letter from Shadowbrook Post-Acute. For those who aren't familiar with where it is actually on Dewey Drive. So it's kind of in my district. The property directly to the north of this Shadowbrook Post-Acute is in Citrus Heights, and the Celtic Cross Church is also in Citrus Heights, but it's a little sliver of area that's not in Citrus Heights. We've looked at this for annexation purposes before. What I'd ask the council to do, and I've already reached out to Senator Neal's office and Assemblyman Hoover's office to see if they can do some kind of remedy quicker than we can do it. But I'd like to provide the Shadowbrook Post-Acute with a letter of support. This letter of support would simply be to ask the Department of Public Health and Licensing Division and Certification Division for a timely review. I've had my own experiences with the state regulatory bodies, and they sort of take their sweet time about even getting into a review, and we certainly would like to put some, just express our view as a council that we would support this. This is it's a brand-new facility. It's been completed for a couple of years. It's had a chain link fence around it. I'd really like to see that business open. It's 174 jobs to the city. So I'd ask the council support for agending as a letter for May 6th meeting.
May 13.
I'm sorry, did I hear
May 13 is our next council meeting, so.
Oh,
Okay,
You're right.
so it may not be
I
as
think-
timely.
I mean, I do feel that unless I heard an objection, as city manager, this is consistent with your goals, for our community that I could pen a letter myself and send that out. I don't know that we would need to agendize this unless the council wanted to take an action, but certainly hearing the spirit of an intent, and it is consistent with your 3-year goals, I could certainly pen the letter.
If it's to ask for timely review, that's all they're asking for.
No, I think that's great direction. Wonderful. Thank you.
absolutely. Thanks, Ash.
You bet.
Okay, any others? Seeing none, it looks like we're at adjournment. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Nice to see you, Tim.
Nice to see you as well.